Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had a directed session with a client. Are any of you VAs? Well, if you are, we're going to be talking about the VA contract. So I don't know if you signed a VA contract yet, but I've actually written a couple of contracts. And then I've worked with like a lawyer on, a couple of contracts. So, and there's actually a proposal in the US right now para ibasura yung mga non-compete clauses for work contracts for Americans. And that can, if that proposal comes through, then it's going to affect our careers as virtual assistants and as freelancers. So I don't know if anyone signed a VA contract as of yet. So a VA contract is usually an independent contractor's agreement. It's not an employee contract. Oh, thank you. Naumaos ako kasi nag-directed session ako kay client. Mabot ng 4 na oras, diba? Ayos. What's up, Mavericks? Ano ka ba? VA ka, no? Are you a VA or a freelancer? Ayan, so pag-usapan natin yung mga pinirman yung mga kontrata mga VAs. Or freelancers. Usually pag freelancer, siya yung nagbibigay ng kontrata kay client. Tapos si client ang pipirma. But if you're with a VA agency, usually the VA agency gives you the contract. Once pumasa ka sa interview and all that stuff. And then, nasa yon kung pipirman mo yung kontrata. But typically, you cannot work for a VA agency unless you sign their contract, which is typically an independent contractor agreement. Hindi siya parehas ng kontratas na galing sa call center. Okay? Kasi sa call center, nakalagay doon na employee ka, empleyado ka. So the call center is going to employ you, right? The VA agency is not employing you. The contract with the VA agency usually says, kasi may silbi ka sa amin. Okay? Kasi yung skills mo is magagamit ng kliyente namin. So, habang gusto namin yung skills mo and kumbaga may value yung skills mo sa mga clients namin, we agree to, parang you and I agree that in exchange for your skills, we will pay you. Parang ganon. So, or habang ikaw nag-agree ka na ibigay yung ibigay yung skills mo, then we will pay you for your skills. Ano pong best niche aside from real estate? Best in terms of what? Best. In-invite kita, Mavericks, ah. Best in terms of, ano? In terms of what? Para sa akin, if you want to talk about the best niche for money, for making money, sales. Yan, pinakamalaki. Sales, diba? Ako rin galing ang directed session, diba? A directed session is like a session you have with a client for a voiceover na si client ang magdidirect sa'yo. Hindi yung record ka lang tapos pasa mo. May mga ganun. Yung YouTube na client ko ganun. Pero ngayon sa directed session. Kumbaga si client nagdirect ng session for your voiceover. Parang ganun. But yes, the best niche for making money as a VA or freelancer is sales. Tanggap po kayo ng request sa piano. At malayo eh. Dito. Ano ba kayo lahat? VAs or freelancer? Tsaka yung mga contracts ng mga VA companies, halos magkakaparehas yan. Kasi, yung pinakaunang VA agency, okay, which is a real estate VA agency, and that was my first VA agency that I worked for. Yung mga sumunod na mga VA agency, na mga real estate, mga ano sila, naging kliyente nung VA agency na yun, tapos ginaya-gaya-gaya nila yung model. May alam ko yung hiring. Mga VA agency, they're hiring. And if you want to know which are the bad agencies or which are the good ones, like I have videos. Nag-share yung ibang tao doon yung mga experiences na ng mga good agency tsaka mga bad agency. Gusto mo real estate VA agency, ano? Riva Assist, Riva Global, may Outdesk, yan. Virtue Desk. Maghanap ka na lang reviews kung alin yung pangit, alin doon ng maganda. Pero wala na atang, dati yung ibang VA agencies may bayad yung training. Yet you can't work for me directly. Like, I'm a freelancer right now and I don't need anyone. Like, for voiceovers, like, what do I need? I do everything myself. I don't train anyone. I really, that's not my niche. Pero marami po nagte-train, sina Christine, dami pong iba. Si Isa, she does a lot of training. Riva Pod is her podcast, and she does training in real estate, podcast management, transaction coordination, mga ganyan. But yeah, I don't need anyone right now because I do everything myself. Kung galing ang call center and your only skill is calls, then you kind of really don't have a choice. Okay? If yung skills mo is more technical, then medyo mas marami kang choices. Kasi yung mga clients, they're more likely to hire somebody with a lot of technical skills, like web developer, UX designer or graphic designer and UX designer, that they'll hire somebody like that. But if you're from the call center and you don't have any other skills, yun lang makikita ko sa'yo ng client. Yeah, okay. Yun lang makikita sa'yo ng client. Well, you kind of really don't have a choice. Mapunta ka talaga dun sa gusto niya lang may calls. That's the that's the ugly truth. Kasi ganyan nangyari sa akin. Although may mga VA agencies ngayon na parang nagre-register na locally sa Pilipinas. So, yung Athena, yan. Kaso, ever since nag-register locally yung Athena, apparently they're very, mas naging stricto sila sa mga requirements. Tsaka mga VA agencies, they will tend to be mas strict sa requirements. Kasi, so middleman yung agency. Sila naghahanap ng clients and then for their VAs. And then, they have to guarantee certain things sa client. So, nakakontrata yung clients, nakakontrata din yung mga VAs nila. So, that's why mas mataas ang standard sa VA agency. But I think it's a good training ground. Okay? Yung problema is hindi nila magagaranti na bibigyan ka ng client. There's no guarantee. And one of my jobs was to place. Yes?
Hi.
Yes? Did you have a question?
Huh?
Did you have a question? Did you get a contract? Nonsense. Joiner. No, I will never put up my own agency. Kasi alam ko yung takbo ng mga yan. Yeah, that is the last kind of business na ipoput up ko. Tsaka mas maraming kupal na clients kaysa maayos na clients. Kaya, no, never. I will never put up my own agency. Sobra-sobra yung headache if you put up your own agency. Plus, in the long run, mas mahal ka as a local-based agency kaysa yung mga galing sa ibang bansa. Kaysa yung mga base sa ibang bansa. Medical? Hello, Raish, diba? Have you heard of Hello Raish? They have medical VAs only. Good morning po. Ang problema sa Hello Raish, ay sorry po, kasi hey Hope, galing akong directed session sa client for a voiceover. So hindi ko mabitawan. Yung Hello Raish, dati, their training was like 2 months, pero ngayon di na bayad ang training ng Hello Raish. But, pag pumasa ka sa training and they place you with a client, you start at $7 an hour. So, and that's higher than a lot of other agencies. So, $7 an hour is around 61,000 a month. So, if you're getting more than that right now, yun yung rate ng Hello Rate. Okay. Hey Dylan, what's up? What's up? Ano ka ba? Are you a VA? VA ka ba? Did you sign a contract? If you signed a VA contract, it should have, okay, what you're gonna see on the first page, okay, it should have the date that they sent you the contract, and there's usually a time frame for when you should finish signing the contract. Now, before, construction VA talaga? Interesting. Ngayon, before, when I was still onboarding VAs and sending them contracts, I would give them a time frame. Okay, I would tell them, you need to read through the contract. If you have any questions, wag mo muna pirmahan yung kontrata. Okay, you have to ask your questions first before signing the contract. Kasi anong silbi na pinirman mo yung kontrata tsaka ka magtatanong? 'Di ba? Kung marami kang tanong, di wag mo muna pirmahan. 'Di ba? Doesn't that make sense? Wag mo muna pirmahan. Hey Jella, what's up? Wag mo muna pirmahan. So, ayan, tanong mo si Jella. She was one of the VAs I onboarded a long time ago. I tell them, read the contract, ask your questions, and then sign it when you fully understood it. Okay? Because honestly, yung mga VA agencies, ayaw nila yung masyadong matanong ka about the contract. But for the last VA agency I worked for, I would always say that. I would say, don't sign the contract until you understand everything. Diba? So the first page of your contract should actually have, it should ask you, it should have your name. Dapat sila magbigay ng name mo. Tapos ikaw mag-fill in ka ng current address mo, mga ganyan-ganyan. And then it should have, hey Kim, sorry I'm late. Galing akong directed session kasi. So sorry. Oh, okay, cool. Ayan. So I assume that your client is direct. Okay. Ayan. So if you're given your VA contract, which is usually an independent contractor's agreement. Hi Kim, kamusta? So an independent contractor's agreement is not an employee contract. Hindi siya parehas ng contract na pinirmahan mo sa call center. Wow, ganda naman ng picture. Tagal mag-connect na yun. Hey Kim. Hi
Alright.
Ilan.
Hi,
Kumusta
good
naman?
morning.
Kumusta naman?
Ayun, nakikichika ako sa kabila kanina. Kina
Kay
Coach
Jairo?
Potato. Nandun sila.
Okay.
Kay Sir, Tito JJ.
Sorry
May
naman.
bardagulan
Galing
sila
akong
doon.
directed. Ha? Ano no?
May bardagulan sila doon.
Okay. Galing akong directed session sa client.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so hindi ko siya mapitawan. But anyway, ayan. But do you work for a VA agency, no? Yes.
Dati po, opo, sa Sphere.
Sphere Rocket?
Yes po.
Tas,
Before, last year.
Gano'ng katagal ka doon?
Mga, more than a month lang po eh. Kasi something happened with my father. So, kailangan ko mag-resign. Kasi
Okay.
hindi ata hindi pwede dun sa client ko na matagal ako mawawala. So, yun lang
Mag-LOA ka
yung
sana.
option. Yes po, yun na lang po talaga yung option.
Okay. So, how long ago was that? Was that this year or last year?
Last year, mga more than a month lang po, mga
Ah,
gano'n lang.
okay. Ayun. Um, so, yung sa Sphere Rocket, since today we're talking about contracts, no? Dun sa Sphere Rocket, what kind of contract did you get? Was it an independent contractor's agreement?
Yes po, independent contractors agreement. Yes
Mm.
po.
Tapos sino nag-onboard sa'yo?
Sila din po si client po.
Yung client mismo?
Yes po, yung client mismo.
They had you sign the contract?
Yes po.
So hindi yung VA agency ang nagbigay sa'yo ng kontrata?
Hindi po, si
So,
client.
so anong
Mm.
agreement mo with the VA agency?
Meron naman agreement after kunyari after interview, meron agreement na parang I'll stay with the company and, kunyari 'pag hindi pa ako makahanap ng client, hahanapan ako nila, parang gano'n lang naman. And pero buti na lang dun sa agreement wala namang sinabi na hindi ako puwedeng maghanap ng ibang, job other than that. Pero dapat aware daw po ako na full-time yung job ko,
Pero,
parang gano'n lang.
pero ano pa, so more on headhunter lang sila?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, hindi ka tinali sa kanila?
Hindi naman po.
Okay.
Mm.
Kasi karamihan ng mga kontrata sa VA agency, parang ganun.
Yes.
Pero,
May alam nga po mayroon akong interview dun sa isang, agency, hindi ko na lang i-mention. Nire-require kasi nila, sabi nila tinanong ako nila, "Okey lang ba sa'yo if ever ma-hire ka, tatanggalin mo yung or ide-delete mo yung LinkedIn mo, yung Upwork mo,
yeah.
yung OLJ mo?" Gano'n.
Parang alam
Ta's
ko yun.
ta's parang ako naman, dati kasi I had no idea about it, eh. So, parang oo lang ako. So, and then later on I realized na, ay bakit pala? Oo nga pala, parang karapatan ko naman 'yun. Bakit parang pipigilan nila ako na in fact, hindi naman ako employee.
Ayan, sabi ni Imo Mama, the description sounds very CB. Yeah, that's
Mm.
one of them. That's one of them. I know that they do that. So here's the problem I have with that. Kung ang si VA agency nagbigay sa'yo ng email address, tapos yun yung ginamit mo pang-register ng Facebook account, LinkedIn account, mga ganyan, they have a right if they own the domain that the email
Mm,
is attached to. And why do I say that? Kasi nung nandun ako sa real estate VA agency nag-work before, they told everybody. They said,
mm,
you have to create another another FB account using your using the company email na binigay. And then
mm,
that's what we had to do. So, tapos nung after ako mag-resign sa kanila, ang ginawa ko, so one of the requirements is tanggalin ko yung FB account, 'di ba? But what I did instead was I transferred it to my
mhm.
personal email, 'di ba?
Oo.
Kasi ang daming clients in
Mm.
my FB
True.
account, 'di ba? So maraming mga real estate clients doon. So I didn't want to let it go, and sayang eh. And then
Mm,
if it's theirs, then they have a right to ask you na tanggalin mo yung pinakreate namin sa'yo using our email. But if your LinkedIn account and your Upwork account, etc., existed before your application, and you created it using your personal email, then you have a problem, di ba?
exactly.
Kasi hindi
Opo,
naman sa kanila yun. Doesn't belong to them.
true.
And in the
Mm,
second place, ang binibigay sa na kontrata is independent contractors agreement. It's not an employee contract. Hindi ka
mhm.
empleyado nila. So,
Totoo.
walang guarantee yun eh. Yung sa'yo nga,
Mm.
parang headhunters, ano lang eh, headhunter
Yes.
agreement lang. It's not, they aren't even tying you down. They tell you, oh, it's okay if you find another client sa labas. Pero karamihan,
Mm.
naglalagay pa ng non-compete clause. So, yung non-compete wala namang ganun yung Sphere Rocket, no, yung non-compete.
Wala naman.
Wala.
Pero meron ako last week, meron kasi akong triny na applyan or sa OLJ habang naghanap ako. May nakalagay dun mismo sa client
On the
yung
job ad,
yes,
I think I
oo,
saw that one.
na mag-aano siya, magha-hire siya ng nakalimutan ko, kung ano yun. Pero anyway, yung hinahanap niya is full-time. Ayaw niya na maghanap ako ng ibang, client. So, kumbaga sa kanya lang. Pero hindi naman gaano kalakihan ang ano niya, offer and wala namang mga benefits dun. So, anong anong makukuha ko dun? Sabi ko, "Ay, 'wag na." Mm.
Yeah, I saw a job on online jobs recently that said it's on the job ad itself. So maganda na nalilagay niya doon sa job ad na,
Mm,
you know, I
mm.
am only looking for one VA, and if you decide to work for me, then I would prefer that you don't work for any other clients, blah, blah, blah. Parang ganon.
Mhm.
Pero hindi rin ganon kataas yung inaalok niya. Diba?
Ayun, mm.
So maganda na ilagay nila sa job ad. Like if it's, that would be ideal, but not everyone kasi does that. Right?
Yes.
So
Siguro
one,
kung talagang walang client na as in like, yun talaga tapos parang parang go ka na lang or parang first time I guess,
yeah,
siguro magpu-push. Mm.
if newbie ka, papatulan mo yun, di ba? Even if
Mm,
they offer
mm.
like $4 an hour. Here's the problem. Ayaw ni client ng VA na bagito. They
Oo,
want,
yes,
yeah,
nakalagay
they want
dun.
somebody with experience, and they want somebody with a lot of skill sets, like somebody who can do some social media management and a little bit of graphic design and a little bit of
Yes.
video editing. And there's no way that somebody who is a newbie is gonna be able. No, we don't hire any. Hi Ace, we don't hire anyone. Okay. I'm not hiring anyone. Okay? Because I do everything myself. Yung mga experience, they might be able to do like everything themselves. But yung bagito na kailangan pa i-train, tapos ganun yung rate inaalok ng client. It's a very difficult world to get into as a newbie na yung rate is let's say $3-4 an hour or wala pa. Tapos ang daming
Mm.
pinapagawa sa'yo. Tapos hindi pa willing mag-train si client. Which, honestly, most of them are not. Most of them are
Yes,
not going to be
totoo,
willing to train.
totoo.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tapos papapirmahin ka pa ng non-compete, di ba?
Luging-lugi na.
Kung mauta ko
Mm.
na bagita, you'll be like, um, I would finesse it at the interview. I would say, well, I took training for social media management, and yes, I can do calls, and yes, I can help manage your email and your calendar, blah, blah. Pero hindi ako marunong mag-video editing. Um, but I can do some basic video editing using CapCut or DaVinci Resolve. Kasi madali
Mm.
lang na maaralin yun, di ba? So kung okay
Yes.
sa'yo that's the software that I'm using for video editing, di ba?
Oo.
Tapos, pag nag-decide si client, oh sige, hire na lang kita na ano, ganito, 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 ganyan, ganyan. Tapos binigyan ka ng kontrata. For me, like, if walang naka-stipulate sa kontrata na, ano, na parang, sige, after, depending sa performance, after 3 months, ganyan, 4 months, iaangat yung rate mo. Like, I would
Mm.
stay for maybe 3 months, get some experience, and then
Yes, same din ako.
look
For
for something that pays
experience.
higher, di ba? Tsaka
Totoo,
kikilatin
totoo.
siguro yung ugaling ni client. Kasi minsan yung client parang kung madali lang, kung kasundo mo naman, tapos madali lang na client, then, you know, why not stay
Mm.
for a little more, but for a little longer? But, you know, if you're staying there and then they're not sort of, you know, giving you, or at least make commitment na, sige, based on your performance, ganito, ganito, angat natin to
Mm.
$5 an hour, mga ganyan, ganyan. Then I wouldn't, I really, I couldn't stay. Like,
Mm.
Magtatrabaho for $4 an hour for what, 2 years? The next 2 years. It's
Naku,
not. Oo, 'di ba?
wala ng growth.
Walang growth, walang benefits, tapos maliit lang
Mm.
yung negosyo ni client, kaya hindi ka rin pwedeng magpa-promote, 'di ba? So, tapos may non-compete pa.
Hindi makaraket.
Yeah, hindi makaraket. So yung non-compete, the reason why I bring it up is because in the US, there's now a proposal by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, na ibasura lahat ng non-compete clauses in work contracts for Americans,
Mm.
sa
Mm.
mga Amerikano. Kasi recession sa kanila, 'di ba? So ang daming nagla-lay off ng workers, like libo. Like, yung Facebook, nagbitaw sila ng, like, I'm not sure how many, mga 8,000 employees or something like that. Twitter,
Mm.
they laid
Mm.
off. Google, they laid off people. So, nangyayari is marami nawawalan ng work. And the
Mm.
Federal Trade Commission is thinking, um, what if these people don't get another job?
Mhm.
'Di
Mm.
ba? So, ang gagawin nila, ibabasura nila yung non-compete clause. Hindi naman lahat ng American companies offer non-compete clauses.
Mhm.
Okay? Hindi
Mm.
naman lahat. Tulad ng mga nagtatrabaho as consultants, hindi mo sila pwede i-tie down kasi nga consultant lang, di ba?
Mm. Mm.
So they get paid a consultancy fee. But you cannot give a consultant a contract with a non-compete.
Mhm.
Okay? So they might
Y
like a consultant, like a lawyer, okay? So they can work with several clients. That's why you cannot
Mm.
give a lawyer a non-compete clause and say, I will be your only client. Di
Mm.
ba?
Mm.
Yung mga lawyers, kung gusto mo na parang medyo may exclusive ka
Humanap.
na relationship, you have
Mm.
to pay a retainer. Di ba?
Mm.
A
Mm.
retainer, which means you pay the lawyer every month to be your lawyer. But, hindi yung pwede sabihin sa lawyer na, sige, ako magbayad ng retainer mo, ako lang client mo. Hindi rin pwede yun. So
Oo.
a lawyer can have like 10 clients on retainer. Mayaman siya, di ba? So,
Mm.
what they're doing, what they mean in the US is yung mga tao na work like normal jobs. Let's say they work for a restaurant. So let's say food server sila, mga ganyan. So let's say after their shift at their first restaurant, they can work at another one. Parang ganon. So, hindi mo
Mm.
pwede silang pagbawalan, oh, pagkatapos ng shift mo, hindi ka pwede magtrabaho sa iba. Ganyan. 'Di ba? So,
Mm.
there's a proposal para i-ban yung mga non-compete clauses in work contracts. And that's going to be
Mm.
big because if magrant, okay, if magrant, it's not ban. The ban is not going to be on people signing non-compete, yung contracts with non-compete. It's not banning
Mhm.
yung empleyado. It's banning the
Mhm.
employers na
Right.
mag-alok ng kontrata with non-compete clause.
Mm. Mm.
'Di ba? So, pag na, pag pag pinush through nila yung ban na yan, yung tatanggalin yung mga non-compete clauses for American workers, um, I'm not sure if they have any um, part ng proposal is yung mga Americans that are offering contracts to people that don't work in the US. But if they
Mhm.
just ban non-compete clauses altogether, ang mangyayari niyan is American clients cannot give contracts to anyone with a non-compete clause.
Right. Mhm.
'Di ba? And,
Nabasa ko pa nga
sige,
nabasa ko po kasi 'yan. And then, yun nga, tungkol dun, kasi meron din ako mga relatives na nasa US and,
oo, familiar
talaga
sila sa mga
sila
ganun, no?
oo, yes, familiar sila at talagang meron din naman daw mga companies na ina-allow sila na magtrabaho ng, let's say hanggang 2, 3 or other, basta hindi lang maapektuhan daw yung job nila.
Mm-mm.
So, sa kanila kasi parang work is life din, eh.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
ayun,
Yeah. So,
siyempre cost of living.
yeah, the cost of living. So, and here's a really fucked up thing. The people who get offered contracts with non-compete clauses in the US, okay, they're
Mhm.
usually not like hindi sila yung mga white collar na jobs.
Mm, mm.
Yung mga there's a certain level na yung mga blue collar, mga ganyan. There's a certain level of
Yes.
society
Mhm.
in the US, and that's really fucked up, that gets offered these contracts with
I
with
see.
non-compete clauses all the time.
Mhm.
So they kind of tie you down to one level, to one position. Di ba?
No.
So tulad
Mhm.
ng mga stockbroker, mga ganyan, like it depends, right? Yung mga stockbroker, they will be loyal to, let's say, one hedge fund company if the price is right. It's
Eh,
kind of the same
totoo.
thing as a VA. If you're gonna get offered, let's say, 200,000 pesos a month, and the client wants you to be exclusive, I think that's a fair deal, right? Parang
Mhm.
pag-isipan mo yun. Like, is that
Yes.
something that you are willing to, is that the price of your exclusivity? And I'm like, well, hindi ka naman pinagbawalan sa racket. Di ba?
Oo, totoo.
Yung mga paisa-isa na racket, or magnegosyo ka sa, halimbawa,
Mm.
nagnegosyo ka ng, bumili ka ng franchise ng shawarma, mga ganyan. It
Oo,
doesn't
mga
ban
puwedeng
you from
iwan.
that, right?
Oo. Mm.
So, and that's really fucked up. And it's kind of the same here, right? So there's a certain level of society that gets offered contracts with non-compete clauses,
Mhm.
and you're kind of kept there, like, for all time. Di ba? Na
Mm.
pag binasura yon, so pwede ka na magtrabaho for kahit ilang employers na gusto mo. Di ba?
Mm.
But hanggat kaya mo. So, and the way that I see it is, it depends on the kind of ban that is granted. Depende sa mga lawmaking bodies nila. So if they say, yeah, American employers cannot offer like non-compete clauses to anyone, then
Mhm.
yeah, the problem is, what if you work for a VA agency that's based in the US, that's owned by an American,
Yes.
and you
Mm.
signed a contract that had a non-compete clause, and the date was 2022. Di
Well, I
ba?
think hindi kaya mabasura na rin 'yun if ever man na, mag-push through na mag-grant siya.
I think there's a good chance of that kasi nga recession sila. Tapos may
Yes.
layoff sila.
Mm.
Di ba?
Mm.
Like, so,
Totoo
so
'yan.
they're going to be faced with increasingly large sectors of society that are not
Mm.
making money, or that were not making their income from before, right? So
Mm.
mangyayari is, bibigat yung gastos nila on, what do you call that, social security,
Mm.
'di ba? So
Totoo.
there's more and more people relying on food stamps, tapos yung, 'di ba? And typically, if you fire someone in the US, according to one of my friends who's a business owner, if you
Mm.
fire somebody, you have to pay for their parang unemployment something. Habang unemployed sila, habang hindi pa nakakuha ng trabaho, you
Oh,
as a
parang
previous
susuportahan
employer,
sila.
susuporta
Mm.
mo sila. Pero hindi, syempre, hindi, halimbawa, if you are paying that person, let's say, $6,000 a month, and then you fired
Mhm.
them, hindi ka magbabayad na 6,000 a month. Pero may babayaran ka pa rin.
Mhm. I
Let's
see.
say $1,000 a month na lang babayaran mo. You have to support them until they get another job. But,
Mm.
di ba? Walang ganun sa atin, di ba?
Sana all.
I mean, like, 6,000 is a far cry from 1,000 na
Mhm.
unemployment benefit, kumbaga. But still, when you look
At
at it from
least.
the company side, from the employer side, savings pa rin yun.
Yes.
Diba?
Totoo.
They would, let's say you laid off 1,000 workers. Instead of paying each worker $6,000, now you're just paying, let's say, for example, 1,000.
1,000,
Yeah,
yes.
that's why I know they're seriously considering that. Diba? Para, kasi ang gusto ng American government is for people to find jobs and get
Mhm.
get paid. Okay? Imbis na mag-rely sila on the unemployment benefits.
Yes. Mhm.
Kasi part din yun, sasagutin ng gobyerno. Like, di ba? So, ayan. So, for those people who work for a VA agency, I think it's, and for Sphere Rocket, that's a little bit of a unique situation. So, lumalabas is more on headhunter sila. And I
Yes.
think that based on some of the reactions to my videos, ang ina-expect ng iba from Sphere Rocket is they will find them a client.
Sa'kin po kasi natagalan, I think it took at least mga 3 months bago ako
3
nagka-client.
months?
Yes po, and I was like ako nga makulit kasi ako din. So, yung HR kasi wala talaga po akong, alam kung papaano nung umpisa, papaano ako maghahanap ng client, saan ako maghahanap, nangangapa ako and parang ginu-Google ko lang talaga lahat. So, from scratch talaga. So, yun, umasa ako dun sa agency until nagka-client na. And then eventually may mga, kakilala ako dun na meron na silang experience from direct client. So, dun ako natuto din.
Ah,
Sila naman, nagpunta sila ng agency kasi nawalan sila ng client. So, parang for the meantime lang din yun, I think. And then after that, maghahanap din sila ng mga direct client.
okay. Well, the good thing is, hindi kayo tinali ng agency. Like, they're aware.
Yes, yes.
Diba? Kasi it's not fair to tie you up and then with a non-compete clause and then parang hindi ka hanapan ng client. So, tapos wala namang guarantee na bibigyan ka ng client. Diba?
Yes, totoo. At saka kung gaano katagal, buti sana kung meron para sa US na susuportahan. Sige, go lang.
Yeah, we don't have that. So, ayan. So sa mga pumirma ng non-compete clause and you didn't understand what it means is pag pumirma ka doon sa client na yon or sa agency na yon, pinagbabawalan ka to work for any other client. Okay. Usually
Mhm.
it means bawal ka magtrabaho for another client in the same industry. I mean,
Mhm.
yun yung unspoken rule. Kasi halimbawa, yung pinasukan ko na unang VA agency, they train you on real estate.
Mhm.
Diba? So they assume that you're going to use their training to find another client in real estate. Diba? So the unspoken rule is that, okay, you've signed this contract, hindi ka pwede maghanap ng ibang clients in real estate. Kasi yun ang ginagawa ng iba. Once na-train sila, I mean, naturally, that becomes their niche. Diba? So,
Yes.
usually the non-compete clause says hindi ka pwede magtrabaho with any clients outside of the VA agency. Although yung last na VA agency that I worked at, um, I would tell the VAs, you have to, para sa akin, if may clients ka na existing sa labas, okay, basta alam ko, okay, basta dineclare mo, and I know kasi ako rin nagpe-place ng VAs and clients together before,
Mhm.
di ba?
Mhm.
So, kasi nakaka-stress yun. Halimbawa, may client ka sa labas, tapos yung schedule mo doon is Eastern Time, di ba? Tapos bibigyan kita ng client, Eastern Time din. So, sino mas-stress? Hindi ikaw. Di
Mm.
ba? Ikaw, pati yung client na ibibigay ko sa'yo. Right?
Madodoble.
So I would tell the VAs, if you have existing clients, you have to let me know and let me know your schedule. So if alam ko may Eastern time ka, tapos matatapos ka ng 10 p.m. ng Philippine time, then I will find you at either a mountain time or a Pacific time client. That's what I would
At
tell the
least.
VAs.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, if you don't tell me at all, it's not my fault. Kung hindi mo sinabi sa akin na meron ka ng client sa labas, tapos binigyan kita ng client na full-time, that created like some tension between you and your existing clients, that's your fault. That's not my fault. Kasi hindi mo sinabi
Mhm.
sa akin.
Mhm.
Okay? Unfortunately, hindi lahat ng VA agencies ganun.
Oo,
They're not
hindi
like that.
talaga.
They're not
Mm.
okay with you having other clients. So if you're handed a VA contract that has a non-compete clause, and I will say that most VA agencies probably would have one, then it's up to you. Pag pinirmahan mo, nag-agree ka.
Mhm.
Doesn't make it valid kasi kung hindi sila registered locally, paano nila malalaman? Paano nila hahabulin? That's the truth.
Totoo,
Diba? That's the truth.
totoo.
Like whatever contracts they give you, like unless they have a local presence here or may lawyer na maghahabol sa'yo, mga ganyan-ganyan, hirap sila mag-implement dito. Hirap sila. That's the
Yun din
truth.
yung naisip ko sa pinaka-first ko na client, nag-lead gen ako.
Mhm.
Merong contract na ganyan na bawal ako maghanap ng ibang client. So naisip ko rin, sabi ko,
So direct
papaano
client
nila
yan, ah. So direct.
yes, ay hindi, yung pinaka-first, hindi, agency din.
Ayun yung agency, okay.
Yes, and naisip ko, sabi ko, paano nila malalaman kung meron akong ibang client, kung ibang time naman. At saka rare yung chances na magkakilala yung client ko at saka yung kung ano man yung I mean yung current na agency ko. So, I was like, parang panakot lang ata 'to. Parang inisip ko rin yun, parang gano'n.
Ah, ayan. So, tinanong ni Camille, ano po bang VA? Curious ako, puro ganyan nakita ko sa TikTok. So, VA for me, para sa amin ni Kim, it can be virtual assistant or voice actor.
Totoo.
Because we're
True.
both in that business as well. Okay. See, Kim is a former radio DJ, by the way, guys, in case you didn't know. Si Yvonne, true, it's better talaga to avoid same-time job because of the quality of work. Ang hirap i-maintain. Kaya nga, pag nasa VA agency kayo, you should know, right? You should know their policy if you have clients sa labas or may clients kayo na pabalik-balik. Kasi may mga clients ganun, di ba? Parang pabalik-balik. Kahit sa voice acting, di ba, may mga clients na pabalik-balik, right? So, if sinabi ng VA agency, no. If may client ka na pabalik-balik sa'yo and we give you a full-time client, no, you can't work for that client. So, yun yung policy nila.
Mm.
It's still up to you. Kung lalabanan mo yun, that's not the right VA agency for you.
Mhm.
Punta kayo sa Sphere Rocket yan. Para alam na natin ang
I
policy, di
think,
ba?
itong tinatanong ni Camille, naki-curious kung ano yung VA kasi nagkakaroon ng confusion between kung ano yung VA at saka ano ba yung nagfi-freelance. So, siguro, naiisip nila na 'pag VA ka, automatic freelancer or the other way around din. VA ako more.
Ayun, si Yvonne, more on recruitment and lead gen. So, if you work for a VA agency, you're definitely a VA. Okay. If you look for direct clients, you're you're more of a freelancer. Although sa job ad, yung mga direct clients naglalagay sa job ad looking for a VA. So for me, if you're a freelancer, you can be a VA at the same time. It's interchangeable, 'di ba? Pero pag
Mm, mm.
nagtrabaho ka for VA agency lang, you're a VA. No question
Yes,
about it.
exactly.
You cannot be a freelancer inside a VA agency unless the
Mhm,
VA agency allows it, which not a lot of them do. That's the
mhm.
truth.
True.
Diba? So more on recruitment and lead gen. Yeah, I know what that job is. I would never do that job. Kasi yung lead gen na gusto ng clients is mano-mano. My God, sakit sa ulo. I would never do that. Diba? Automate mo na lang yun.
Kung
Nice.
saan-saan hahanapin.
Nice yan. Ang clear na explanation. Well, that's how I call it. Okay. And I was, previously, my last VA agency, I was the operations director. So, nag-i-interview din ako ng freelancer minsan. So, depende rin. If they're willing to accept the terms and conditions of the agency, then Gora. Eh, wala si Shandy. Ano? Si Shandy yan, isa sa mga freelancer in-interview ko while I was still working there.
Mhm, mm.
Ayun. So, it depends. Direct hire po ako, yes, sobrang sakit at boring talaga. Automated. Dapat i-automate mo. Okay? Pa-join.
Lawrence
Ikaw pala yun.
Association.
Okay.
Hi.
Ayan. Dapat i-automate mo yung lead gen. You can get 2,000 leads a day if you're automated. Hey, Lawrence, no Lawrence ba? Lorenzo. Hindi ka ba Enzo?
Hello po. Hello.
Hello. So you're working right now. Are you a VA or freelancer?
Ano po, bali both at saka pang third yung BPO kasi kung ano po, bali ganito po yung setup. Wait.
So you're working with 3 companies right now?
Yun. Kasi
Wow.
ito yung dami.
So you're working
So,
for 3 companies right now?
yeah, bale ano lang siya. Hindi naman masyadong yung parang BPO, literal na BPO na may quota kang na kailangan mong ma-reach. So, hindi siya pressure ng ganon. So, ayun, napagsabay siya. Pero, I agree sa isang comment kanina na yung productivity talaga maapektuhan, ma-compromise.
Yeah, lalo na yung magkakaiba-ibang schedule. Like, kailan ka matutulog is the problem.
Yeah. At saka may baby rin.
Okay. Bakit kailangan mo ng 3 kumpanya? Like, aren't you earning enough money with one company?
Sa ngayon lang po yan, needs lang. May needs lang na kailangang personal na mga problema na kailangang matapos target ko this year. Tapos nun, mag-focus na ako sa yung stable na lang, yung may me time, kumbaga may me time na ako sa next year. Yun yung target ko na by this year ma-achieve ko yung mga ma-fix ko yung mga problema. Kaya yun yung ginagawa ko.
Okay.
So,
okay. So may pinirman ka na kontrata with any of those clients na may non-compete?
yun, related sa kay Miss Kim kanina, sinabi niya na paano malalaman, ganun. Yes, may pinirmahan naman, pero ano kasi, kung gusto mo talagang ma-achieve yung mga goals mo, practical way, para sa akin lang, sa sitwasyon ko, ito talaga yung yung parang solusyon para maano ko siya. Kasi hindi sapat yung isang job ko na regular. Alam ko na may ako doon, may yung sa kontrata na makapagbayad ka, may penalty ka pag nalalaman, yung
May
mga ganyan.
penalty pa yung sa'yo. So yung ginagawa mo yan is labag dun sa kontrata na pinirmahan.
Labag siya pero dapat na yun. Wala akong maisip na words. By the way, pag pasensya na sa Tagalog ko kasi Bisaya ako eh. So, di ako makapag Tagalog ng maayos.
Pwede English na lang. You can do English, that's fine.
Ano pa yung mga comments?
Ayan, so tanong ni Yvonne, so automated lead gen. So, in order to automate your lead gen, your client has to buy an automation software. And 2 years yung kumpanya niya, so ibig sabihin kumita na yan sa kumpanya niya, or kumikita na siya. And there's automation tools that cost like there's $300 a month, $300 a month,
Agree.
or $500 a month. Yun yung layer. So I'm sure your client can afford $300 to $500 a month.
2
Kung may
years, meron na
maipapasok ka naman na automated leads ng, let's say, 1,000 a day. Kasi sa ginagawa mo, 8 hours mo, mano-mano, how many real leads, like actual leads are you bringing in per day? Swerte ka na sa 5. That's the truth. Lalo na kung mahirap yung niche ni client. Sinabi ng, ganito so we had a client like this before. Sabi niya, so gusto niya mag-hire ng VA for, to bring in leads. So, lead gen. Pero gusto niya, hi AJ, what's up? Pero gusto niya, sabi niya, ang gusto ko na leads are online coaches. Let's go high level. Go high level. Hi, AJ. Akala ko tatawagin mo Miss Viva. Diba? So, gusto ni client online coaches who have been in the business for, iba yung D7. Lead finder yun. Lead crawler yun. It's not an automation software. I know what you're talking about. And I know how to use D7. D7 lead carrot. Yan, magkakaparehas lang. So, ang gusto ni client, online coaches who've been in business for 5 years and have already used, like they've already tried parang using a marketing package through a digital marketer. Tapos, kasi yung package ni client is like $3,000 a month. So, how are you going to find 5 true blue leads na pasok dun sa criteria ni client? Tapos mano-mano ka. There's no way you're gonna find 5 like talagang tunay na leads for the client na mano-mano, tas ganun yung instructions ni client. 'Di ba? Kaya nga mag-automate ka. When you do automation, you know, like you can send out emails, you can automate the text messages, you can even automate the voicemails that are going out to the clients. Tapos kung sino sumagot, ikaw, you're just sitting pretty, ikaw ang tigasagot lang. Diba? Right? Tigasagot ng mga text message, tigasagot ng mga emails. And then you might get like 15 emails a day. And of those 15 emails, may makuha kang at least 5 leads na talagang tunay na leads. Because it's a numbers game. Lead gen is a numbers game. Okay. 20 leads per day, muntik na rin tawagin sa ibang name. Pero kailangan namin i-maintain ang branding. Yeah, my branding is kind of branching out, so it's a bit of a mess. 20 leads talaga per day looking for pharmaceutical and biotech. You know, biotech is like the niche right now that is the the highest paid for businesses. Sige, sure, Lorenzo. All right, take care. Take care na hindi ka mahuli, lalo na kung may time tracking yung isang client.
Ma-screenshot no?
Ni-screenshot
Ay, sa
wala.
bagay, hiwalay naman yung mga PC niya.
Bali yung ano, suggest talaga namin bali kinausap namin yung mga client na kapag ganun, parang mape-pressure yung, alam namin na para sa kanila yun, pero sa agent side, parang mape-pressure yung mga agent, kaya na-understand nila, at tapos yun, di natuloy yung mga screenshot na software, pero dapat productive yung agent. Kapag hindi kasi productive, talagang mapo-force na mag-install ng mga ganong software. Ayun.
Yeah. That's what happens when your client doesn't trust you.
Yeah. That's
When
it.
client doesn't trust you, they're gonna have you log it. Or may history na nagkaroon ng VA si client na gumawa ng kabalastugan. Okay? Kaya siya
Yes.
nag-install ng time tracking. Okay?
Ayun.
And ikaw, dumating ka after yung salbahe na VA, and now everyone after that stupid VA has to log into the time track. That's what happens.
I agree.
Diba? So
Sige
now you
po,
have to prove yourself to the client that way, which is not fair on your part, but si client kasi nadala na. Diba? That's the problem.
Thank you po. Salamat po sa pagpapa-join ko po. Salamat.
All right, take care. Apollo I.O. Yeah, I've seen that. So yung leads gorilla, D7, lead carrot, they're all kind of the same. Okay. They're not automation software. They're lead crawlers. Kasi when you log into D7 or lead cat, whatever the hell it is, right? Maglalagay ka ng criteria, tapos it's good siya. Like it's gonna crawl leads. supposedly for the criteria you want. But sa totoo lang, hindi siya, like gaano kagaling yung lead crawler na software, it's still gonna pull in leads that are not valid. And how do I know that? Because I've worked with several clients who've used several different types of lead crawler software. Tapos minsan nga, yung makocrawl ng leads, mga patay na. Kasi kukuha siya from, di ba, from sources that are like yung mga courthouse records, mga ganyan-ganyan. So, hindi naman kaya ma-determine ng software kung patay na yung lead na nakuha niya.
Totoo.
So, that's the problem. Yung problema is the clients pay for those leads and then they get a shit lead list. And that's happened a lot as well. From my experience. Yes, may ganun ako client, yung bago pa lang ako, sinungaling na agad tingin sa akin. Yeah, kasi nga may VA na gumawa or may freelancer gumawa ng kabalastugan. So, take it from me. I've been in the business for over 10 years. So, and
May trust issues na si client.
Nangyari na yan. Ako pa nga nag-implement ng time tracking, di ba? Dahil dun sa may gumawa ng kabalastugan na hindi naman ako. Okay. So that's the non-compete clause. And it's up to you if tatanggapin niyo yung contract na may non-compete. Okay. But typically your VA contract should have your name, the date that they sent you the contract. Dapat may realistic expectation kung kailan due yung kontrata. Diba? Ngayon, kung hindi mo pipirman yung kontrata, sabihin mo agad sa kanila. It's that simple. Diba? If you sign the contract, tinanggap mo yung terms and conditions of the contract. Now, it should also have there yung rate mo. And depende sa usapan nyo ni client, it should be the rate that's on there. If the rate on there is mas mataas, o di magre-reklamo ka pa ba? Diba? If hindi yun yung rate na pinag-usapan nyo, halimbawa, the client said $4 and nakalagay sa kontrata is $3.50. Okay. Questionin nyo yun. Like, bakit iba? Diba? And then the client is usually going to ask you for your address, your contact number, blah, 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 blah. Now, on the contract should also have kung kailan yung pay schedule. So, kailan yung bayaran. And how. Okay, yes. How they're going to pay you. And how long is the contract for? Okay. Ngayon, kung nakalagay sa contract nyo is in perpetuity. You know what that means? In perpetuity. Di ba may mga ganyan sa voice acting? It means forever and ever. And you don't want to sign a contract that's forever and ever. Plus, labag yan sa Philippine Labor Code. Para kang nag-agree na parang slave contract. Is that what they call them?
Yes.
Slave contracts. Okay. There's no such contract. Like in this day and age, we shouldn't have slaves, although we know that, stuff like that happens. But kung pipirma ka ng kontrata na for in perpetuity or forever and ever, like now you know there's something wrong. Okay. So there should be like a time frame for the client. Is it 1 year, 2 years, 6 months? So dapat klaro yun sa kontrata. And how do I know this? Well, I worked with 2 lawyers. Ang dami kong nalaman. Tsaka yung sister ko, HR for like 16 years or 17. Kasi nauna siya mag-work from home kasi sa akin. Diba? So marami siyang mga alam about mga HR stuff. And also, it should have there what are your benefits. So, for example, kung si client sabi sa'yo, sige, per year, bibigyan kita ng 10 paid DLs. Basta lahat ng mga benefit nyo na nakalagay doon sa kontrata. Ngayon may EOD report na ako, dati wala, flexible hours naman. I think yung SOD, EOD, that's kind of standard naman. And if you're not doing either an SOD or EOD or both, you should offer it to the client. Okay, because when you offer like a daily report tells the client that you take accountability seriously. Sineseryoso mo yung commitment mo kay client. Ngayon, pag bago si client, walang alam sa mga ganyan, mga EOD, SOD. They know nothing about that. Sa direct client, pag direct ka, so what you should do is you should offer it. as part of your package. Well, as part of my package, if you pay me $1,000 a month, may kasamang daily report sa'yo at the end of my shift. Maganda yun. Para hindi ka ilagay sa time tracking. Diba?
Totoo.
Unahan mo na.
Naka-experience na ako ng ganyan na client last year. Yung client na yon bago pa lang siya. So, hindi niya parang ako na lang mismo yung nag-offer na ganito, mag-send ako ng report sa'yo. So, parang nagkakaroon ng magandang impression at least yung client sa'yo na pwede ka niyang pagkatiwalaan at least. At
Yeah.
saka, yun, tama. Hindi niya ako binigyan ng time tracker.
Yes. So, offer it to the direct client. Usually, sa mga VA agencies, if you get placed with a client, that's ano naman siya, that's like par for the course. That's normal. Like you're expected to do a daily report. And make sure that you're consistent on your daily report. 'Di ba? Kung nag-commit kayo kay client na, o sige, bibigyan kita ng daily report at the end of my shift, make sure you send the freaking report. Okay? And eto I'll give you a tip na gawain ng experience ng mga VAs and freelancers. If you're sending the report via email, okay, you're sending the report via email, gumawa kayo ng maraming drafts. Okay? Gumawa kayo ng format ng daily report. 'Di ba? Let's say every end of the day, gawa kayo ng maraming drafts and then just use the same draft or doon ka na lang mag-reply sa mga sent emails mo. Para iisang email trail lang. Do you get it? 'Di ba? Hindi yung parang everyday nagsisend ka ng bagong email tapos hahanapin mo pag tinanong ni client, "Hey Sam, what's up? Kamusta si Therese?" So, if the client asks, "Did you send your end of day report yesterday?" So maghahalughog ka pa ng email, 'di ba? No. What you should do the same format for your daily report every single day and send it, okay, to the email from yesterday. Okay? Punta ka sa sent folder mo, pull up mo yung email, yung last daily report mo na nakasend na kay client and then just attach it there.
Naka-thread.
Yeah. So it's one long email trail. Pero madali lang hanapin. Did you guys get it? Yeah, naaliw nga ako sa inyo kasi target ko talaga maging expert sa recruitment globally. Yeah. Yung sister ko, sobrang tagal sa recruitment pero super in demand. Minsan di natutulog. Pero mayaman. Kasi siya yung hinahabol ng clients eh. Diba? She had a Russian client, she had an Australian client, then she had an American client one time.
Ayun.
Tapos hindi
Sana
siya
all.
natutulog kasi day shift si Australian, tapos sinasandwich niya si Russian, yung quota niya kay Russian, tapos binabayaran siya ni American for Eastern time, hindi halos natutulog yun. Pero kinikita niya is, I think, close to 300 a month. Oh, diba? Kasi siya so she has quotas for recruitment, for headhunting for her clients, and then when she makes the quota, so malaki na nga yung basic niya, tapos may incentive on top of that. Diba? But it's not an easy field to get into, yung recruitment, kasi it's very niche. So there are certain niches for recruitment. So my sister is in IT recruitment. So she only recruits yung mga, halimbawa, yung mga gusto na mga kumpanya like Chase na mga IT na tao. Iba naman yung, halimbawa, yung recruiter ka, pero hinahanap is mga executive positions. Mataas din ang bayad sa ganun. Like, kailangan very presentable ka on video and over the phone. So let's say this company is looking for operations director, ganyan-ganyan. So kontak ka ng maghahanap ka ng mga candidates mag-headhunt ka ng candidates for that role, right? So, but it pays a lot. Those are the niches that pay a lot. May mga incentives kami, ang hirap talaga. Try lang talaga. Ibang mga terms sa ibang bansa. Yeah. So, recruitment is a good niche to get into if that's your niche already. Hindi mo basta-basta pwedeng pasukin yung niche ng recruitment na hindi ka BS Psych, na hindi ka kumuha ng yung mga yung mga courses sa school based on that. Like, for the corporate world, like it's not something that you'll understand in 2 weeks. Okay. So ayan. So that's the non-compete clause. All right. What should be on your VA contract? Yan, yung mga benefits, things like that. Dapat naka-ano yan. Hi Christine, I'm so sorry I'm late. I came from a directed session with a client. Um, so those are the standard things that should be. Ako nga na late bakla. Need mo rin talaga maging aware sa employment law ng mga bansa like visa na pwede. Hindi eh. Yung sister ko, she doesn't worry about visas. Kasi halimbawa, yung American client niya will only give her a quota for American companies for people who are already in the US. So, why do you need a visa? Diba? Kamusta, Christine? Ayan. So, those are the standard things that should be on your contract. Should be like, it will ask you for your address, your contact information, if it's coming from the client or the VA agency, okay? Nakalagay doon dapat yung rate mo, yung pinag-agreean nyo na rate. Sige, no problem. Pinag-agreean nyo na rate. Tapos, paano ka babayaran, kailan ka babayaran, gaano katagal yung contract, and then, kumbaga, the length of the contract. Hindi dapat in perpetuity. Okay, that means forever and ever. That's a slave contract. Okay. Tapos, kung yung mga increase, okay, if the client is offering increases, let's say based on performance, dapat nakalagay din yun sa kontrata. And that can be like an addendum, okay? And your job description should also be in the contract, and that can be an addendum. So an addendum is something that you add to the contract. It's part of the contract, but it's hiwalay. Halimbawa, nilagay sa likod ng contract. Could you suggest any training agency or company who train for recruitment niche? Yeah, I don't know. Wala akong kilala na nag-offer ng training for recruitment because yung mga papasok sa recruitment niche, yun na talaga experience nila before sila nag-work from home. Like I said, it's not something you can pick up in 2 weeks or be trained for in 2 months. Ideally, you should be a BS Psych major, behavioral science, mga ganyan. Tapos na-take mo na yung mga psychology course in school, and then you worked in recruitment, let's say, sa call center. So, nangyari sa sister ko, she's a BS Psych from UST, like my daughter. And then, nagtrabaho siya for like 2 call centers, and that's her niche. Talagang recruitment na talaga siya. So, may experience siya ata na 5 or 6 years bago siya nag-work from home. Okay? Hindi ka pwede i-train for recruitment in 3 months. That's not gonna happen. Yes po, yan po work namin. 9 years ako sa HR, psychology grad. Exactly. That's the ideal. Yeah, there's no training for recruitment that I know of. No. Nag-offer na po kami ng WISE para mag-automatic pay na lang, pero sobrang tagal ma-implement. Talaga? Dati ang bilis sa amin ng WISE eh. Like we applied for it and then wala pang 2 weeks we had it. With the previous VA agency also. So I don't work for any VA agencies anymore. I'm basically a freelancer right now. Ayan. Freelancer and voice acting. Voice over work. Kaya ako na late today kasi I had a directed session with a client. So, standard po yun sa nakalagay sa mga contracts. No, I'm not in the US. I'm in Quezon City, Fairview. Ayan. So, kung nakalagay doon, pag usapan yun ni client, so, syempre, mauna yung interview, diba? So, may this initial interview, final interview, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. If If the client offered, okay, if the client offered, ay, sino ang nagjo-join? Sorry, can you send the request again? Ayan. So if the client offered na, sige, I'll start you off at $3 an hour, and then depending on your performance, after 6 months, iaangat kita sa $5. Ganyan. Dapat nakalagay din yun sa kontrata. Okay. And then you should get a copy of your contract. Yun ang hindi ginagawa ng karamihan. Pag binigyan ng kontrata, yung parang DocuSign, sisend sa'yo yan na parang virtual. DocuSign or PandaDocs or some sort of virtual for contracts, you should ask for a copy of your contract. You need a copy of your contract. As soon as you sign it, send it to the client, in-approve ni client, you should ask for a copy of your contract. Kung ayaw ka bigyan ng copy ng contract ng client mo, now there's a problem. Okay. Doon ako magda-doubt, ano ba yung talagang pakay ni client, ayaw bigyan ng copy ng kontrata ko. Diba? That's a problem now. So, if may offer for increases based on performance, mga ganyan-ganyan, that should be on your contract. Okay. So earlier we talked about the non-compete clause in contracts, and for me, it's iffy. Okay, it's very iffy. Kasi kung freelancer ka, tapos bibigay sa'yo is non-compete, kailangan pag-isipan mo ng maayos, lalo na if you have previous clients na pabalik-balik sa'yo. Kasi the non-compete clause in your contract means that the client is saying, you only work with me. If you sign this contract, I am your only client. You're not allowed to work with anyone else. Kaya nga non-compete. Diba? Another thing that I'm kind of not okay with is yung tinatawag nila na non-solicitation. And usually, nakalagay ito sa VA contracts. Okay? Na, what does it mean when you say non-solicitation? Hindi ka pwede mag-solicit sa mga clients ng agency. Yung iba, ang daming nagsabi sa akin, yung client ko nga sa agency, inalok ako magtrabaho sa labas, ganyan. That's solicitation. Okay, either ikaw nag-solicit or si client nag-solicit. You know what it means to solicit? Negotiate. Okay, inalok mo si client, gusto mo, imbes na nagbabayad ka ng $20 an hour sa agency, why don't you hire me outside and you pay me $10 an hour? That's solicitation. That's negotiation. Okay, and the reason why the VA agency is done like that is because ninanakaw mo yung clients nila. Those clients are signed to the agency. They usually sign a contract that ties that agency to them. So, kaya tapos, to match dun sa VA contract nila, naglalagay sila ng non-solicitation clause. And usually may may penalty. So let's say you stole one of their clients, you solicited, you negotiated with one of their clients, tapos si client umalis dun sa VA agency, hinar ka sa labas. Usually may penalty yun. Nakalagay sa kontrata mo na if you do like solicit one of their contracts, then you have to pay so and so 500,000 pesos, mga ganyan. Now, can they implement that? Kung sa US lang si client, wala siyang local presence, okay, they have to hire a local lawyer na like the process is very involved. Dami kasi requirements sa VA company, dami pa process, kaya nag-direct client na lang ako. Yeah, it's up to you, right? Ganun talaga. It's a VA agency that usually a big business. So they're gonna try to protect their interests as a business. That's why naglalagay sila ng mga ganung clause sa kontrata nila. Now, can they implement those things? It's questionable. The big VA agencies, the really big ones, the ones that are earning gross 20 million a year, okay, they will hire a client or a law firm sa Pinas. And what might happen is yung lawyer nila, tatakutin ka dito. Pero, sa totoo lang, kung si client based sa US lang, like wala siyang property dito sa Pilipinas, wala siyang, wala siyang presence, yung VA agency walang presence dito locally. Si client, in order na kasuhan ka, they have to come here, kailangan kasuhan ka dito. So, mas malaki ang gastos kay client. Lilipad dito, mag-hire ng lawyer dito, kakasuhan ka dito, and alam niyo yung mga kaso can last years. Is there a client who's gonna do that for one VA who stole one client? Diba? I mean, but for me, to be on the safe side, if you don't want to be stressed, kasi the VA agency or whoever it is that you stole the client from, they're gonna make your life very difficult. They'll harass you on social media. They'll send you emails. The lawyer may send you emails. Habulin ka ng sasabihin nila na ganto-ganto. But sa totoo lang, implementation's very difficult. Okay? Lalo na kung hindi based dito si client. Malaki ang gagastusin niya. Ngayon, if the client does decide na kasuhan ka, malaki din gagastusin mo. Okay? So, pag-isipan nyo rin ng maayos. But in a lot of VA contracts, there will be a section or a clause that states that you're not allowed to steal the clients of that VA agency. Diba? Ayaw nila yung nag-aalok ka kay client na, mag-direct na lang tayo. So, I don't know if this happened to anyone here. The last VA agency I worked with, as in, ang daming kumontak sa akin na client who wanted to work with me direct. But I didn't really want to work with any of their clients. Dahil na alam ko yung mga ugali. Diba? Alam ko yung ugali ng mga clients na yun. And alam ko magkano yung rate na gusto nila. And like, I'm not cheap as a VA. As a freelancer, like, it's, can you afford me is the question that I have, right? So, ayan. In addition, okay, so si client pwede maglagay ng ganong nakatakot mag-solicit. Nasa iyo yun. So, the truth, like, I'm just telling you guys the truth, okay? And I'm not trying to sell you on anything. Diba? Guys, if you want to share the live with people who are VAs in VA agencies, like your friends, mga ganyan, share the live. Diba? Para meron tayong mga real-time situation, yung mga pumirma na ng mga kontrata. Baka hindi kasi sila aware. Diba? So, when you sign a contract with the VA agency, the likelihood is that contract benefits the agency more than the VA. Natural. Negosyo nila yun. Diba? Parang nagpahiram ka ng pera. Pag nagpapahiram ka ng pera, so hihingi ka ng commitment dun sa tao. Siyempre, yung commitment, yung kasulatan nyo dun sa tao, mas mag-benefit sa'yo. Kasi ikaw yung nagpapahiram. Diba? Negosyo mo yun eh. Ganon din sila. Dinirect hire ako ni client, pero nag-file ng case company dito. Sila may hawak ng payroll now. There. See, that's the problem. Yan ang magiging problema ninyo, ni Jason. If you decide to solicit the client, if you decide to negotiate with the client. That's why sa mga VA agency, there's usually a part in your contract that says, if we give you a client, okay, bawal ka na nakawin or mag-alok ng direct hire, or kahit si client sa'yo nag-alok, bawal pa rin yun. Okay? According to the contract. But the contract actually is very difficult to implement. Unless si client pupunta dito sa Pilipinas, gagastos yan si client, di ba? So yung tulad kay Jason, tinuloy ni client ang kontrata. ang kaso. So now you have to pay for a lawyer, you have to pay for the appearances. That court case, like cases here, kahit labor case lang, can last for years. years. Diba? Ano yung basis ng kaso mo, Jason? Yung ba yung under non-solicitation? Or under ng non-compete? Tsaka may local presence ba yung agency dito sa Pilipinas? Ayaw niyo ba mag-business ng agency? No, never. 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 Like mag-train ka ng VAs, no? No. No. Never, never. I will never do that. Never, ever, 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 ever do that. Bakit? Because I've been 10 years in the business. Alam ko yung ins and outs of everything sa mga agency. So that's the last business I will ever. No case filed against me since wala naman akong contract sa client. So saan tinuloy ng company yung kaso dito sa Pinas? Is it not harder though if you're the one to look for your own client? Well, now it depends on your skills. If you have skills that clients are looking for, no, it's never hard to look for a client. I had clients running after me. Diba? Like, ako yung nahabol ng client. Up until New Year's. Kung wala ka masyadong skills, syempre, mahirap maghanap talaga ng client kasi mas marami kang kalaban. If you have an in-demand set of skills, you will never find it hard to find a client. Ikaw ang hahabulin ng clients. Tingnan nyo yung mga full stack web developer. I never have any full stack web developers come into my life. Why? Because they're all busy, right? Hindi sila nawawalan ng clients. Lalo na yung full stack web developers na marunong mag-UX. Ano pong niche mo? Well, I've been in the business 10 years, so I have a lot of skills. Like, yung unang VA agency was a real estate VA agency, and then the second one was in digital marketing, specifically marketing automation. So my skill sets include appointment setting, sales, recruitment, business operations, marketing automation, digital writing. So marami akong skills, and that's why clients want to work with me, right? But it's important for me na the opportunity is right for me. Kaya hindi ako tumatanggap ng kahit kung ano-ano lang. 'Di ba? Tsaka alam ko yung mga ugali ng mga clients, karamihan is mga kupal eh. So 6 months pa lang ako, hinahabol ako ng clients pero binabarat at ang sama ng ugali nila. Parang ako po gwapo kaya hinahabol babae. Parang ganito din sa client po. The more skills you have, like, the more sa clients. Lalo na if the clients know about you. Diba? Training kasi ako, ma'am, lumitsweldo ko nung PH company na may hawak ng payroll ko. What's my specialization? A lot. I have a lot of specializations, but sa ngayon, I'm like, what I really enjoy is sales. Yung maganda kasi yung sales kasi pag binigyan ka ng quota, na-meet mo yung quota, bahala ka na sa oras mo. Diba? Tsaka yung sales, kahit maliit yung basic mo, usually may mga incentive. Diba? So let's say I closed 19 clients for this month. Right? So per client, meron akong incentive. Let's say $75 or $100. Let's say $75 for a part-time client. Pinasok ko sa kumpanya. And then $100 or $150 for a full-time client kung nag-sign up. Let's say I closed 19 clients for the month. Di medyo malaki na yung incentive ko. Plus may team incentive pa, usually mga ganyan. So I really enjoy sales. I enjoy marketing automation to a certain extent, but like I haven't seen syempre yung which is connected to sales. Marketing automation is connected to sales, but I haven't really seen na parang, and hindi ko pa nagagawa na parang super personalized yung marketing automation model, right? For a company or for myself. Also enjoy watching sa inyo po, ate. Okay, thank you. Hi, Gyro. Is it bad to work with companies like Athena if you are just starting? No, definitely not. Ako sana ganun din. Okay. No, maganda training nila and paid not bad. What type of sales po? Sales for a company. So, new business, business development. Ibig sabihin, papasok ka ng client sa kumpanya. Diba? Hindi yung sales and appointment setting are two different things. They're not the same thing. Okay. So, yung sales na ikaw yung nagko-close ng clients for the company. Yun yung malaki yung bayad. Sana all 10 years experience. Well, yeah, you have to go through all kinds of rubbish, all kinds of garbage in 10 years. Kaya ngayon, like, how many clients do I have now? Well, for right now, I'm a freelancer. So, like, I have two regular clients for voiceover work. Pero sa marketing automation, mga ganyan, namimili kasi ako ng opportunity. Okay. Like, if a client's going to offer me $2,000 a month, no. You're not going to get me for $2,000 a month. Struggles when you're just starting out. Not knowing what to expect. Diba? Tapos yung first client ko pa is, second week ko pa lang, gusto na nila ako tanggalin. Diba? Kasi wala akong appointments. That was like my first job. So, the client was like, Jen, this is your second Monday. If you have no appointments by tomorrow, like, hindi mo na kailangan pumasok ng Wednesday. Para ginanon ako. Do you disclose to the other clients they also work with another? For a voice-over work, alam naman nila yun. Yung mga voice acting, alam nila yun. Pero if I was to work with another client again, for, let's say, sales or marketing automation, I'm not going to work with two clients. I'll work with one. But that one client, they have to be able to afford me. Diba? Hindi ako everyday nagla-live. No po. Thank you so much for the rose. Ano po best starting company? It depends. What are you looking for? And depends on your current skill set. What happened then? Naligwak po ba? Yes, of course I made it happen. I'm not a messenger girl. I'm a delivery girl. Sabi mo pumasok ako the previous week. Tinrain nila ako 2 days or 1.5 days. Tapos nakikinig ako ng mga recordings ng mga ibang appointment setter. And then, hi Raylan. And then they had me what did I do differently? Tinignan ko yung ginagawa ng iba, and then ginawa ko yung hindi nila ginagawa. And then on that Tuesday, bang, 8 appointments. What? And ever since that day, palagi akong may appointments, like every single day. Pinakamababa ko siguro na appointments is like 3. Okay? Pero on a good day, I would have like 10 appointments. Sumobra pa. Yeah. So, in order for you to keep a client, you have to make it happen. Make it happen. Tsaka hindi yung make it happen na baso-basura lang. Okay, like make it happen, yung matino. Appointments na matino. Have you had an experience as an EA? Oh my God, you don't want to hear about my experiences as an EA. Kasi yung gagawin nyo as EA, hindi nyo pa nagagawa yung pinagawa sa akin as EA. I have crazy confidence. 10.5 years. Come on. Nakita ko lahat ng baho na yung mga clients na mga yan. Freelancer is not a permanent job. Yung first client ko nga, walang notice period. Yeah. Lahat ng aspiring VAs, they come in, okay, and they're like, this is the one thing that all aspiring VAs know. Kumikita ng 6 figures ng lahat ng work from home. I don't know where you get that information. Diba? It's like this rumor, may bumulong sa isang buong call center, tapos binulong yun sa ibang call center. That's what all aspiring VAs know. Okay? And it's not true. It's not true. I'm telling you that right now. It took me 6 years to get to 6 digits, to earn 6 digits. It took me 6 years. Okay? And isipin nyo, I am British educated. I had 11 years experience sa BPO plus ano pa ako noon, POC ng CSAT ng isang buong section ng call center. Okay? But still, I started at $3.75. And English is my first language. It took me 6 years to earn 6 digits per month. So yung mga pumapasok ngayon galing call center and you're expecting you're gonna make 6 digits in your first month, it's a lie. I don't know where you got that information. Kasi itong alam na mga working VAs, yan, sina Kim, sina ilang years ka, madam? Sa BPO po, 11 years bago ako pumasok as VA freelancer. So yung mga working VAs, they know this is the truth about working at home. Okay, it's very unstable. There's absolutely no stability. There's no guarantee of anything. There's not even a guarantee na magsistick sa'yo yung client. Working as an EA second week. Okay. Would you say it's easier to earn 6 digits now than before? Yeah, if you have skills that a lot of clients want and you take on 10 clients all at once, you'll earn 6 digits pero wala kang tulog. Na pag nagkasakit ka, anong mangyari sa clients mo? Like, may kilala akong ganon. Si Mika, she took on what, like 8 to 10 clients? Pero hindi, nag 6 digits na siya, hindi naman nagtagal. So, I say it's easy for me to earn 6 digits now because of my experience, because of my skill set, because I did the time. I did my time. Tuloy lang ang buhay, hanap ko ng bag. How about at least 30 to 40? What do you mean 30 to 40? 30 to 40,000? Well, Athena is offering 46,000. So, kung sa BPO, kumikita ka ng 27, tapos lipat ka ng Athena, they're offering 46. Talo ka pa ba nun? Tapos empleyado ka, hindi ka VA, hindi ka independent contractor doon. Sa Athena ngayon, although very strict sila with their requirements, is they will pay for your government benefits, meron ka ng paid leaves. Tapos pag na-place ka sa client, they'll send you like, a MacBook sa Athena. I don't work there. I have a lot of friends who work there. They'll send you a MacBook. So that MacBook is free, but it's not yours. Okay? It belongs to Athena. Because nakatie-in yon sa their time tracking for the client. Basta kung may client ka, save your money. Yep, that's what you should do. Spill the beans po sa EA experience mo. Okay, so I became an EA. So with the real estate VA agency I was with my first client as appointment setter, which was Zillow, for 1.5 years. And then after 1.5 years, Zillow canceled. They canceled me. They canceled all their VAs through the VA agency. Nagsarili na sila. So, wala akong client. So, ang ginawa, yun na daw MacBook sa Athena. Well, after 5 years, talo pa rin. Diba? Okay. So after 1.5 years, I didn't have a client. I was hired as the EA for the CEO. So yung may-ari ng VA agency. So I was his EA. Okay. And then at the same time, okay, hindi lang EA ako. Nag-appointment setter pa rin ako. So appointment setter plus EA. And then I was an admin VA. So yung mga kontrata, that's why I'm very confident to talk about contracts, because one of my roles in my first 2 years as a VA was I was like doing contracts. Thank you, Jaro. I was doing contracts for the VA agency. Yung mga VA endorsements, client endorsements, client agreements with the VA agency, and then the VA contracts with the VA agency. Like ako nagme-maintain tsaka nagfa-file nun. Right? So that was my first experience. So actually hindi lang ako EA. EA plus admin plus nagtatawag pa plus appointment setter pa ako. And of course, as an EA, you also have calls. So I had EA calls and I also had appointment setter calls. So that was the start of my experience as an EA. What else do you want to hear? Sabi ni Yvonne, you need to gain experience talaga para magkaroon ng 6 digits. Yeah, I earned 6 digits with one client, but it took me 6 years. Okay? And that's what I like. Like, I want one client, but gusto ko malaki yung bayad. What work did you learn the most as operations director? Because I literally built the business for my client in like a little over 2 years. Naging worth 7 figures na yung business ni client under me. Tsaka yung maganda dun, wala akong ibang, like, I was the only ops director. Like, wala akong kaagaw sa desisyon. So, pag ako nagdesisyon, ako lang. Diba? Gusto ko rin ganyan, like, bylaws ng company and contracts. Yeah, a company is not going to just let you into their contracts. Okay, so the fact that I was the owner's EA, I had to prove myself first. I had to show him that he could trust me. Right? So lahat ng subscriptions niya, that was up to me. I also had, the information for his checking account with Chase. And I also had yung isang American Express na credit card, yun ang ginagamit ko for him. Right? So you have to prove yourself. A client is not just going to give you access to their financial stuff with how long before you got your executive trust. Well, 1.5 years na kasi ako sa client before I was an EA for the owner of the company. So, of course, in that 1.5 years, nag-excel ako. Like, I really excelled my performances and appointments. I went above and beyond. Diba? Yung mga calls ko, yan ang ginagamit nilang training calls. Like some of my calls, that's what they use as training calls for their ISAs. See? So, pag napansin ka, if you do a great, like, super great job, mapapansin ka. Kaya ako, naging EA ng may-ari because I had excelled at the initial job. Well, that's true. Ngayon, I have all CC na client paying and buying documents online. Exactly. The client is not just going to give you, here's my credit card information, here's my chain. They're not going to give you that. Not unless they super trust you. And you know what? Nagtrabaho ko sa American Express. That was like my last call center. So, alam ko yung mga pasikot-sikot na American Express. What I could have done is added myself to the account. Diba? Added myself to the account, sent myself a credit card. I could have bought all kinds of things online using the client's, checking account information or credit card information. But I didn't do that. Diba? I did not do that. That's why the client trusted me. So, siguro mga EA, well, yung tatlong trabaho ginawa ko for almost 2 years with that client. And then after that, I forced him to promote me. At least even more. Contracts VA. Well, backup contracts VA. Appointment setter plus EA for $800 a month. Like, that's just fucking crazy, right? Even back in like 2014, bababa yun. My client trusted me with his credit card on the second day. Sabi niya, uuntiin niya lang daw pagtiwala. Pero second day binigay ang card. Yeah, that's risky for a client. I would never advise a client to do that. Yeah, it wasn't $800 to do all that work. No, I'm in Fairview, Quezon City. Okay, forcing a client like $800 to do all that work. Tapos walang bayad yung OTY. Tapos yung OT ko is usually like 5 hours a day. Okay, for the contracts and shit like that, right? So yeah, $800 is not worth it. So pinilit ko siya. Sabi ko, you have to pay me more. Like, my dad's in hospital, so I was like, you have to pay me more. You have to promote me. Like, I have to be making more money because, my dad's in hospital right now. Plus I have, bills, with my family. Plus I'm paying rent, blah, blah, blah. So I go, if you're not going to promote me, unfortunately, this is not the right role for me anymore. Eh, halimbawa, ganon, tatlo yung trabaho mo. Like, 'di ba? Ang dami mo ng hawak. So, hindi ka basta-basta pwedeng bitawan. So, he was forced to promote me. So, he created a role for me in the company as operations manager of sales support. And that's what I was doing anyway. Kasi yung appointment setter sa kanila, tawag doon sales support. Kasi nagsiset ka na appointments for the sales team. So, I was doing that anyway. So, he just made me OM of the sales support team. Na mga, kakilala ko na anyway. 'Di ba? Why not? Dapat ka talaga ma-promote. True, nung una ako napanood si Miss Jen, kala ko sa ibang bansa siya. Okay. Thank you. Well, I did grow up abroad, so leverage, skills, values, leverage, yeah. So, and do your job to the best of your ability. Even if nobody is looking, even if the client is not there. Okay. Sino yung EA? Wait ah. Ayan, si Eugene. Okay, this is a pinaka crazy, one of the craziest. Can you play your current favorite song for us po? No. Medyo yung voice ko kasi. I came from a directed session. Kaya late yung live ko kasi I had a directed session with a voiceover client. So, as an EA, this is one of the second craziest things that I did with my client. Tapos, nung time na yon, iPhone 6 pa lang. So, my client had an iPhone 6, bagong-bago pa yun noon, di ba? So, nasa real estate siya. So, he would attend like real estate conferences. And what I would do as his EA, ibobook ko yung mga gusto niya ng mga classes. And then, he would be all booked for his classes. Tapos nakabook yung flight niya, his hotel, and then what he would do, hindi pa uso yung Siri nun. Wala pa yung Siri nun. I was his personal Siri. Diba? As EA and personal Siri ni client. So, pagising ni client, I would be on Skype. I would be on his phone on Skype or Messenger. Diba? And then he would say, "Hey, good morning, Jen. Where do I have to go?" Diba? Sa conference si client, where do I have to go? Well, you can have breakfast. It's downstairs, blah, blah, blah. Wala ako dun sa location sa Las Vegas. Right? The Remax conference in Las Vegas. Wala ako dun na. I'm just on his phone. Okay. I'm his personal Siri. And then he'd be like, "Good morning, Jen. Where do I go?" "Oh, you can go downstairs. You can have breakfast." And then, yung unang class na gusto mo, right after breakfast, you have to register for that. The booth is going to be near the concierge, or you can ask the concierge to help you with that because hindi kita ma-register, kailangang personal registration. Diba? Okay, Jen, who am I meeting next? Kahit sarili niya schedule, hindi niya alam. Diba? Inayos ko lahat. Paano yung location? My location was his phone. I'm sitting in the Philippines, nakapambahay. I'm sitting in the Philippines, nakapambahay, nakapusod yung buhok ko. And he is wandering around a hotel in Las Vegas, asking me where he has to go. That was one of my jobs as an EA. Can you imagine? Right? Where's my next appointment, Jen? Where's my next class, Jen? Pero may moments naman na mabait si client. May moments talaga siya. To be honest, yan exactly yung nafe-feel kong hindi ginagawa ko to be paid $6.50 an hour. Already a lot for me. Yung first client ko din, pinakuha ko ng ticket ng train sa UK. Pinakuha ka ng ticket. Okay, nandun ka ba sa train station with a client? Okay, where's my station? Where's my station, Jen? Where do I go? Pati yun, tatanungin sa akin. Hindi ko gumawa more for him. Hindi pa yun that's not the craziest thing he asked me to do as an EA. Okay? That's like the second craziest thing that he asked me to do. There's like a lot more crazy stuff. So as an EA, if you want to excel, you have to know the needs of the client before the client knows it. Kailangan yung kailangan ng client, alam mo before they know. Did you watch that movie, The Devil Wears Prada? If you watch that movie, she's an EA, but on site, di ba? Nung bandang huli, ang galing na niya. Di ba sabi ni Miranda, yung boss niya, Miranda was like, oh, after this, I'm gonna have dinner. And then she was like, oh yes, I already messengered your dinner outfit to the location. And then afterwards, my twins have to, yes, I've already done that. Yan ang magaling na EA. Sinasabi pa lang ni client, ginawa mo na. Diba? Nakakatawa lang talaga sila. Tapos, pinabook ako ng taxi, tapos pinagawa ako ng e-book. Parang ikaw mismo magde-delegate ng work. No, you're not delegating the work. You're the EA. You do all the work yourself. Yeah. Bandang, like, dun sa The Devil Wears Prada, she didn't really know what to do at the beginning, pero bandang huli, ang galing na niya. Like, she already knows what the client needs before the client asks for it. Diba? That's what's going to make you an excellent PA. Okay, if you already know the needs of the client before the client asks you to do it. So I think there was one time when my client was at a meeting, okay, and then magpa 5 o'clock na. Oh, so magpa 5 o'clock. Ano yan? So magpa 5 o'clock na. And then alam ko, yung kids niya were at home with the babysitter. And then the babysitter she needed to leave at 5 or 5:30. So, and wala pa yung asawa din ni client. So, ako nag-propose kay client na ako na lang tatawag sa bahay. And then, I'll kausapin ko si babysitter. And then, are you willing to pay her overtime? Kasi baka hindi ka makauwi in time. Hindi ko alam kung anong oras uwi yung asawa niya. Diba? And then he was like, yeah, go ahead and do that. And then I said, shall I order pizza for the kids, for your kids? See? That's an EA, right? That is an EA. Second week as an EA. Don't feel like I'm doing enough yet. I do what he asks or tells me to do. Yeah. Well, that's what most BAs do. They do what the client says. If you know what the client needs before they need it, now you're not just a VA. Right? Yun nakikita mo talaga, like tao ka. Oh, sorry, I was live late because, we had a directed session. So, medyo namamalat pa ako. It's not initiative. Like, you look at the situation the client is in, kasi tao din yan. Put yourself in the client's shoes. Okay, I'm at a meeting, hindi pa ako makakauwi. Yung babysitter, aalis na at 5 o'clock or in 30 minutes. So what are you going to do? Make the client's life easier. Right? Look at the situation. Tao din siya. If it was you in that situation, what would you like? What will make your life easier? Right? So ilan sa inyo is VAs from VA agency at pumirma ng kontrata? Happy weekend, Coachy. So I'm assuming Eugene is from Athena kasi EA. Kung nag-branding si client, ang hirap. Pati inch, font, design na gusto. Yeah. Well, you took on the responsibility as a graphic designer. Hindi ako nag-graphic design. That's not my field. But I know how to hire a graphic designer. I know if a graphic designer is lying, okay, about what they can do. A direct client. Well, as an EA, you're like, julalay ka kasi, di ba? Parang yung mga EA na mga artista locally. Ako po from Virtual Freelancer, Asia Agency. Bago ba yan? I've never heard of it. Virtual Freelancer. And what kind of contract did they make you sign? Di pinalat sa mga agencies na gusto ko, including Athena. Yeah, that's fine. Do it on your own. As an EA, dapat mo gawin gusto nila. Yeah, as an EA, since you're the closest to the client, you'll be asked to do stuff that's way out of your skill set and way out of your comfort zone. And then, like, how are you gonna handle that, right? Oh, kaso feel ko di enough ginagawa ko kasi konti pa lang pinapagawa niya. Yeah. So, if in the first week, binigyan ka na ni client ng 5 tasks, okay, and then second week and third week, you're still on 5 tasks, that's a red flag for me. Kasi, hindi tinatagdagan yung trabaho mo. It means yung tiwala nila, hindi mo pa nakukuha. Because they're not adding work to you. They're not giving you more tasks, right? If natuwa sa'yo si client, hey, can you also help me with bank recon? Can you also help me with this? Can you help me with that? Ganun yun. Pag natuwa sa'yo. Ikaw, pag, if you just met somebody, right? And then you connected with that person, how do they become your best friend? Kasi you can see that that person is understanding, right? They're understanding. They get you, they understand you, so you share more and more and more with you, trust them with more and more. It's the same thing, diba? Is it just because it's a client those rules don't apply anymore? So feeling mo parang, wow, hindi ako dinadagdagan ng trabaho ng client, swerte ko naman. That client's gonna cancel you by next month, probably. Because you haven't proven yourself yet na hindi ka binigyan ng additional na yun. Yun yung red flag doon. Yes, I've interviewed tons of media buyers. FB, Google Ads. I've interviewed web developers, graphic designers, UX designers, ISAs. Hindi ako nag-interview ng GVA because it's, medyo mababa yung, like, there's no need for that. Potential EAs I've interviewed. I've interviewed people who were up for promotion, project managers, yan. Lahat na interview ko na. Tsaka hindi yung first level interview, all levels interview. Pati yung technical side, di ba? Yung negotiation na lang, bahala si client. Parang, pero sinaset ko na lang expectation yung ng in-interview ko na parang, baka ganito lang yung budget ni client. Where's my fucking drink? Advice for people na may full-time na pero unsure pa if kakayanin second client. Kailan ka matutulog? That's my question. I don't have any advice because I don't think that if you have a full-time client, tapos kukuha ka na second full-time client, like, I don't think that's a good idea. Kasi full-time is 8 hours. So you're working 16 hours, when are you going to sleep, is my question. Because I don't think it's a good idea. When are you going to sleep? Same question. And how long have you been with a full-time client? May video po ako for tips for media buyers sa interview. You should find my video. Mas comprehensive yun. Nakalimutan ko na nilagay ko din. But one thing for sure, don't make promises to the client that you cannot keep. Yan ang problema ko sa mga yung mga SEO tsaka yung mga media buyer and SMMs. Like, you guys make promises and I know you cannot keep those promises. Like, halimbawa, yung isa, sabi niya, well, with one of my clients, I did a lead generation campaign and then I got him, 5,000 leads. So you're interviewing for my client, okay? I already know that your previous client was ecom, okay? And if you do FB ads for ecom, it's not the same as doing FB ads for recruitment business or VA agency or digital marketing. It's not the same. So even though I'm not a media buyer myself, alam ko yung mga kahinaan ng mga media buyers. 'Di ba? Alam ko when you're bullshitting me. So you cannot bullshit me and say, well, it's the same thing. If I'm going to do lead gen for recruitment business, it's not the same thing as ecom. Mag-upskill ka, do the best of your ability for your existing client. Tignan mo yung negosyo ni client if he can afford to give you an increase. Okay, look for the signs that you're doing a great job with a client. And then if, the client trusts you more and more and you're getting a lot more work. Yeah, well, I worked in fraud, so for 6 years. So, di ba? Parang I know when somebody is lying. Like I don't know what you're lying about, but I know the signs for somebody who is lying. Kaya hindi ako nag-interview na walang video. I need to see you on video. Because I can see that, like, actions speak louder than words. Like, you could be telling me one thing, but your face and your body are doing something else. Ang hirap kontrolin nun. You're doing a great job. Yeah, of course. Like I said, actions speak louder than words. Of course, the clients are going to say, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. Blah, 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 blah. But ano yung actions ni client? Diba? They're giving you more and more work. They're giving you more and more response. The day na pumayag si client, makipag-usap ka sa clients niya, that's huge. That's a big sign. Diba? Kasi nagtiwala. Usually, si client lang kumakausap ng clients niya. Pero this time, pumayag siya that you're in a call with his client or ikaw pinatawag sa client niya to confirm an appointment, mga ganun-ganon. Malaking bagay yun. For me, that would be a sign that, would you like me to do this for you regularly? I can confirm your appointments if you want, or I can follow up on your appointments na hindi nag-show up if you want. Tapos, the next month, humingi ka na increase. Yeah, actions speak louder than words. Wherever you go, even if you're in Africa or in the US or in the south of France, even if, Tsaka Eugene, palaging nakabukas yung schedule ni client sa'yo. Kasi, yung dati kong client na EA ako sa kanya, hindi niya naaalala ko ang nasa schedule niya for the day. Or even for tomorrow. Or what he did yesterday, he doesn't remember. Like, he's that busy. Okay, he runs a $20 million a year business. He doesn't always remember. But you should know. So, halimbawa, you should know his schedule yesterday, today, and for tomorrow, at least. Okay? Tsaka yung mga important na events for next week, you should know. If he has like a big meeting, big conference, big webinar, you should know those things. So, yung client ko dati, ang hilig niya mag-double book. Bino-double book, triple book niya yung sarili niya. So, don't let your client triple book or double book himself. That's why you should know your schedule. So, halimbawa, sinabi sa akin ng client, could you put that on my schedule that I have a 4 p.m. with Patrick Ferry? That's his coach, right? So, sasabihin ko, for Thursday? Yeah, for Thursday. So I'll go, you already have a 4 p.m. on Thursday. Like, do you want me to call? Do you want me to email Patrick to reschedule? That's an EA. Alam mo yung schedule niya. Tapos minsan sa meeting, nasa webinar, nag-i-interrupt talaga ako. Kasi dapat medyo matapang ka as an EA, right? Minsan nasa meeting, and he'll be talking to 100 people. So guys, let's do this again next month. Na blah blah blah. We'll do it on the 15th. So sasabat ako, Dan, the 15th is a Saturday. Do you want to set it for the 17th? Ganon. Yan ang EA, di ba? Napapagalitan pa ako, bakit di ko sinabi? Yeah, kaya nga, you should be on the ball. Matapang ka dapat mag-EA. BA din po kayo. Yeah, let's say that I am. Sabi ko, already scheduled na. Minsan ako pa, pinasisingil niya sa mga may utang sa kanya. Dapat talaga may increase yan. Mahirap kaya gawin yan. True, dapat parang partner tingin sa'yo. Tama po ba? Yeah, well, no, you're not really a partner. You're not a partner in this business. If the guy is running a $10 million a year business, okay, and he has no EA, and he hired you for lead gen, diba? I would start doing the EA stuff. Because if his business is worth $10 million a year, he can afford to give me an increase, and he can afford to promote me, and he can afford to hire other VAs. And when he hires other VAs, ako yung maging boss ng mga VA na yun. See, dapat may foresight ka for the future. You can see 6 months into the future, 1 year into the future, and what you want to be. Because, ideally, you should work for one client. You should work for 8 hours a day and then get, 6 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep. Yeah, you're still a VA. VA freelancer ka kasi direct ka. Diba? Anong klaseng, hi Dahlia, anong klaseng contract pinirmahan mo, Yvonne? May ba, non-compete? Did it have a non-compete clause in your contract? Malaki na yun. 4 to 5 mil. So I can certainly afford to promote you, right? Gross ba yun? Gross. Mag-hello ka, hello. Hi there. Mag-hello ka sa kanila. Come, baby. Come, baby. Mag-hello lang yung bigel ko. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Gusto mo to? You like this one? You like this one? Gusto mo ng nugget? Gusto mo ng nuggets? Gusto mo ng nugget? You like a nugget? Chicken nugget? Gusto mo? You like some chicken nugget, puppy? Oh, sino good boy? Sino good boy? Oh. Sit ka, sit. Good boy. Sit ka, sit. Sit ka, sit. Sino good boy? Sino magsisit? Oh. Sit muna. Sit, good boy. Good boy. Babasahin mo. Independent contractor, non-compete po sa akin. Oh boy. Did it have a non-solicitation, Dylan? Via agency ka, diba? I was just in a meeting with a client, OB work discussed, but not if I was hired or not. What's next? Follow up on Monday. I also created my portfolio online. Here's my online resume. Did you do a video resume? You should do a video resume. I'll have a topic next week on video resume. Kasi, parang in demand ata yung topic na yun. I do have a video resume. So I made my video resume last year. Yeah, it's a website, but it's not a video resume, right? Like there's no video resume. Oh, gusto mo to? May nugget? Chicken nugget? Charap? Charap yung chicken nugget? Charaps? But Eugene, 4 to 5 million a year? Wow, malaki yun. Divided into 12. Income ni client. If by next year, nag-increase yung income niya to 7 million a year, that's thanks to you, right? Thank you, Choco Butternut. I appreciate it. Thank you. So Dylan, may non-solicitation. So we're talking about that earlier, right? So non-compete, non-solicitation. Di ba natin na-cover yung ano, yung mga confidentiality clause? Nag-ask ako what app I can start learning besides the app they're already using. What do you mean app? Hard on the spot after niya sinabi na bukas pa siya magde-decide. Yeah, I've had interviews. So one of my previous jobs at the last VA agency I was with was I would place VAs and clients. So magmamatch ako ng VAs and clients. And I had interviews before where the client interviewed the VA. So fina-facilitate ko yung interview. And then the client was like, can you start today? Right after the interview, right after the call. So that can happen. Because sobrang, if the client is super impressed with you, they'll be like, but if the client says, you have to give me until Monday, it's not a bad thing. Okay? Because ibig sabihin, inaayos pa ni client yung ano niya, yung schedule niya, or yung may kailangan siyang ayusin kasi hindi pa siya ready para sa'yo. Halimbawa, yung mga files niya, wala pa siyang SOP. So, he'll be like, let me make a decision on Monday. Wag mo siya kulitin sa weekend. Okay? That's not a good thing. Kayo, like put yourself in the shoes of the client. Kayo, if you're hiring somebody, you're a business owner, gusto mo ba yung kinukulit ka on Messenger or WhatsApp? That's bad. Anong matching VA and clients? So, with the VA agency that I came from before, I was the only one doing that. So, we call it placement. So, it's placing VAs and clients together. And mahirap gawin yun kasi profiling na yun. You have to profile. Hindi mo lang imamatch yung skills, imamatch mo yung schedule, imamatch mo yung disc profiles of the clients and the VAs. You have to, ano position, name niyo po. With the last VA agency, I was director of operations. So, but that's, hindi lang yun ang ginagawa ko. Nagmamatching ako, nagre-recruitment ako, nag-initial interviews ako, everything. Like, in the first 2 years, I also did the payroll for everybody. Lahat, ginawa ko na. Yes, they matter a lot. A lot. Because if you know your disc profile, you know the client's disc profile, alam mo yung mga kahinaan ni client, alam mo yung strengths ni client. Tapos, if you know your disc profile, alam mo yung mga weaknesses mo, alam mo yung strengths mo. And hindi porket D yung client, dapat i-match ko siya sa D. Magbabanggaan sila. Right? Well, it's a six-figure job for sure. But, di ba? Ako, para akong doktor. Like, as director of operations, like you have 150 VAs running after you every single day. Miss Jen, nawalan kami ng kuryente. Miss Jen, hindi ako nakapasok sa client. Miss Jen, I feel sick. So, like, matching is not the only thing you do. Right? Plus, nag-upsell pa ako sa client. So, lahat ng process. Just yung mga problema ng mga clients, ikaw ang takbuhan, hindi si client. Hindi yung boss ko ang takbuhan because he's not there a lot of the time. Fridays for sure, he's not around. Diba? Family day niya daw yun. Ang taas na palang posisyon niya po. Yeah, so I also did a series on profiling. So hindi lang yung DISC, right? So there's yung mga personality profiles. So there's the DISC, there's the Enneagram, there's the Ocean, marami pong klase. There's the Market Force Global, there's the Myers-Briggs. Depende po. So the first VA agency I worked with, they use Market Force Global. And then the VA agency, the last one I was with, we use the DISC. So it depends. Pero maganda yung familiar ka rin dun sa iba. Tsaka natatry mo, so you know your personality type. Upsell how? Kasi ako yung contact ng clients, right? So they'll be like, biglang mag-email, Jen, we need an FB Ads VA. I'll be like, I'll find you one. And actually, yung upsell is out of my job description because I don't do sales, right? But I still do it I think if you're gonna learn stuff, you should learn stuff that is important to your clients' businesses. Hindi yung, si client, meron ng design team, tapos nag-aaral ka ng graphic design. Like, he doesn't need that. Or may graphic designer na si client, tapos nag-aaral ka ng graphic design. So, client doesn't need that. Why are you studying it? Tapos yung ginagawa mo for client is EA. So, taliwas dun sa your current skill set. Kung EA ka, nalilinya ka na sa operations, di ba? If you're a designer, UX designer, graphic designer, more on design ka. You can branch out into technical if you want to. I mean, that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense na EA ka or operations manager ka, and then you suddenly study design. Like, it kind of doesn't make sense. Tapos makakalaban mo yung mga designers na meron ng 5 years experience, hindi ka makakahabol doon. So, kung anong aaralin nyo na apps, it should be kung anong kulang sa negosyo ni client. Does that make sense? Ito po, for you, anong number one factor ng isang hinahanap ng client or recruiter? Tingnan mo yung job description ni client na kung anong gusto niya. It's not the same for every... You think every single client is looking for an EA? No. May mga clients looking for web developers. May mga clients looking for SEO writers. There are clients looking for researchers. So you can't say, oh, every single client is looking for this type of VA. Like, tignan mo muna. Learn to listen. Okay? Learn to ask questions. I would say that the most underrated skill that most VAs do not have or do not know how to do is to listen. You don't know how to listen to the client. Nagdidesisyon ka sa sarili mo and you don't listen to the client. You don't ask questions of the client para mas maintindihan mo yung trabaho mo better. That's, for me, that's a major issue. That's the number one issue I have in interviews. And I was interviewing VAs for like 8 or 9 years. And I've interviewed all kinds of VAs. That's the number one issue with most VAs. They do not know how to listen. Pag hindi mo alam, di magtanong ka. Yung ibang VAs, puro mga response eh. I am hardworking, I'm trainable. Have you said that? Let me guess, all of you have used that line. Well, you should hire me because I'm hardworking, I'm trainable, I'm smart, I'm blah, blah, I'm blah, blah. Ask yourself, how many people say that line sa interview? How many people have said that same thing? I'll tell you how many. 15 million. Okay. Those yung interviewers interviewing, let's say, 100 people a day. And 75 of those applicants say, well, you should hire me because I'm hardworking, I'm smart, I'm trainable. Nakakarindi. And you know what? It does not set you apart. It doesn't make you special. You're just like everybody else now. And you're saying what everybody else is saying. Why? Because canned response. Hindi mo kaya mag-isip para sa sarili mo. Kung kaya mo mag-iisip ka ng rason for you to be hired, that's a unique reason. Huwag naman puro ask ng ask ng ask. Yung ask ka ng ask, pare-parehas na yung question mo. It means you didn't understand what they said the first time. Diba? So ask the client questions. Ask, and then show that you understand. Oh, that's what you said earlier. Yeah, I remember. I recall that, yeah. So you need that on Tuesday. Okay, so let's move past that. So I had a question about, you mentioned that there's this website. So what did you need to know about the website? Okay, indicate nyo rin na naintindihan nyo. Hindi yung tanong kayo ng tanong, tapos tatanong kayo ulit, it's the same question. It tells the client you did not understand the first time. Diba? So if a client was to ask me, why should I hire you? And I'll say, well, I have experience and I can grow your business from zero to a company worth 7 figures in about 2 years. That's an answer. Diba? Can I do it? I've done it. How many VAs can give that answer? Not many. Kulang mag-information. Asana kasi gamit namin. Yeah, well, buti nga may project management tool kayo, di ba? Ang ginagawa ko pag may project management tool, ida-document ko muna yung tanong ko doon. So, nagtanong na ako in Asana, it's in black and white. Then I'll ask the client again. And then I'll ask the client again. I might text the client if they still haven't answered me. Yung mga clients na kulang sa information, like 90% of the clients are gonna be like that. Kulang sila magbigay ng info talaga. Kaya huwag ka na magulat. Uy! Ano? Bakit? Gusto mo ng chicken nugget? Hello! Mag-hello ka sa kanila. Hello! Hello! Pakit ka muna, pakit. Yak, may muta. Yak, may muta. Ate, ang little doggy dogs ko. Awa naman. Awa naman. May water ka dyan? May water. You have a water, book? You have water, baby? If EA ka, you should learn how to use project management tool for sure. Saddest. Actually did a video on that. Yung Client Nightmares, may series ako nun. You should watch that. Nandun na lahat. Yung mga client na walang utang na loob. Marami yan. TikTok. Pero i-update ko yung YT ko. So you guys, for the previous podcast, you guys can actually find me on YT. So I'm under the VA interviewer as well. And there are a lot of tips for VAs there. So there's tips there for EAs as well on yung mga time zones, mga ganyan. How to, kasi hanbawa, may client ka na may client. So yung client mo, may clients in Europe, may clients in Australia, may clients in the US. And you should know the time zones for all those places. How do you know? Yung may tip ako in my YT channel. How to know the time zones? No, it's not world clock. You don't have to work it out. You just go to your Google Calendar. There it is. Diba? Parang, your client, that's on East Australian time. Oh, right now, no, it's 8 p.m. So you shouldn't call them. Ganon. Diba? Alam ko na agad. Like, I don't have to calculate anything. 12 hours sila, so plus 8 hours from GMT. Hindi. No. No, I'm not from Cebu. I'm from Fairview, Quezon City. I look like someone you know from the call center. I don't know if there's open positions. Sa ibang VA agency, alam ko meron. Mga Athena, yan. So, yeah. So, let's talk about that. Luckily, client mo, tinrain ka. Kaya ka ina-offeran ng $3 an hour. Gagawin dahilan niya ng clients, well, I can only offer you $3 an hour because I still have to train you. Right? Which, nakikita ko naman yung point ng client. Diba? Because you're gonna take time away from their business and they have to train you. And how long is it gonna take to train you? For me, yung onboarding process with a new client is typically 30 days. Bago ka naging komportable with your task, hindi ka na masyadong matanong. Kaya ka inofera ng $3 an hour kasi they needed to train you. Yung iba pa nga sasabihin, well, typically $3 an hour in-offer ko, but I still have to train you so I can give you $1.50 until you're trained. May mga ganun scenario. First time ko napadpad sa live mo. Yeah. First time ko talaga nag-train sa akin. Yeah. That's why they offer you $3 an hour. That's why you need to move on as soon as you're trained. Right? Kaya yung iba yung GBA for mga 2 years, 3 years, still at $3 an hour. Like seriously, you didn't think of moving on? Alam magkano lang ang $3 an hour? It's like 24,000. Is that enough? Ngayon, kung walang ituturo sa yung client, well, start at $5 an hour. Start. Pag medyo bago ka. But for me, like, the clients don't need to train me on anything. I can actually, like, give advice to the clients. I can tell them where they should be saving money, right? And if they're hiring me as a VA, tas ako mag-a-advise sa'yo, you're not gonna hire me for $5 an hour. That's not me. That's not the kind of VA that I am. Pero kung ita-train ka pa ni client, yun ang gagamitin niyang dahilan. Na kasi kailangan pa kita i-train eh. So, I can only give you $3 an hour because I'll be taking time away from my business and to spend time on you. You have to realize what you are making the client do. Diba? Pag kailangan pa niya i-train ikaw, he's not going to be able to make sales calls. He's not going to be able to talk to his clients. He's not going to be able to organize his business. He's not going to be able to organize his website or his social media because he's spending time on you. So you are actually like bababang income niya because he's training you. So yung iba, parang ibang VAs, lalo bago, bakit hindi kayo ita-train ni client? Because that's why. That's why. Because you're costing the client money. You're taking the time and money away from his business. Kaya pag tinrain ka ng client, you should be fucking thankful. Because most clients, they don't want to train. See? So pag the client is taking time out to train you, and yung iba parang wala lang sa kanila, dapat i-train ka ni client. Dapat ka i-train ni... kung client, solo lang siya, like he's the only owner of the business, you are taking time away from him and his team, him and sales calls, him and trying to get new clients, him updating his social media. Ang dami niyang i-give up para lang i-train ka. So you should understand as well why. Pero yung nawala business niya, hinanapan niya ako ng new client. That client is gold. Pero so far ngayon, kaya ko naman nasa process kami na nagtutulungan for business nila. Yeah, but see, when the client trains you, that means you already cost the clients money. That's why may expectation si client. Yung iba, hindi nila naintindihan yon na parang, bago pa lang ako, taas na ng expectation ni client. Did the client train you? Yes, he did. Well, kaya mataas ang expectation. Because they trained you. And syempre, ayaw nila paulit-ulit na training. So if you don't get it the first time, and the client cancels you 3 months later, you should understand why. Right? Because if you're not helping the client with the business, mas malaki pa yung gagastusin niya in terms of training you kesa yung kinikita niya sa negosyo niya for that month. Like, you know what? The client, wala siyang fallback. Most of the clients are business owners, small business owners. So when you take time away from him, na inasikaso niya yung business niya, like you, like if he doesn't make money for that month, it could mean his kids don't go to camp. Okay? His kids can't take soccer lessons or piano lessons or baka yung therapy ng anak niya twice a month na lang imbes na 4 times a month. The things that yung problema sa mga VAs, they don't see it from the client side. I mean, like a lot of VAs think their clients are just like bottomless money pits. Diba? Tingin nyo parang your client is made of money. They're not. Usually their business, their small business is their only business. Challenging your expectation, lalo na kung tinrain ka. Because you took time away from their business in order for them to train you. Kaya wag nyo maliitin yung parang, dapat i-train ka ng client. That's why most clients, they don't want to train. That's why most clients, they would prefer to hire somebody who already knows what to do. How do you upskill outside of work? Well, right now I'm upskilling in terms of voice acting. Like that's one of the things I started doing last year. But all the other stuff, like kailangan mabilis ka mag-aral. Okay? Kasi yung mga clients, ayaw nila naghihintay. Like si Kim, sabi niya, mag-file siya ng LOA kasi may sakit yung asawa niya, di ba? And the client was like, yeah, I can't wait for you for 1 month. Ganun talaga yung mga clients. If the client is like, we had a client before na yung ginagamit niya na email marketing tool was Woodpecker. And I had never used Woodpecker before. Right? Pero si client, ayaw niya lumipat sa iba. Kasi marami na siyang campaigns in Woodpecker and then 5 years na ata niya ginagamit, 4 to 5 years niya ginagamit. So ayaw niya lumipat. So what I had to do, I had to learn the tool. I learned it in 45 minutes. Right? How to use Woodpecker. There's training on it, there's YouTube. So I watched some YouTube videos, yung mga maikli lang, yung mga 5 minutes na videos, and then I learned a lot of yung mga training inside Woodpecker. Like, I covered all that in 45 minutes. I went back to the client, I said, let's go with Woodpecker. Kailangan masanay ka sa ganun. Pero yung mga kung mag-aaral ka outside of work, like aralin mo the courses that nakalinya na sa trabaho mo, if masaya ka sa niche mo, and that's gonna be of use to your client. Tsaka marami pong free courses. I did a video on big companies offer free training. If you haven't watched my video, you should watch that. May binayaran po ako ng courses, medyo mahal. Like University of Maryland, mga ganyan. Mga machine learning, mga social media management, customer relationship management. Like those are free courses. Some of them were very expensive. But like I took more free courses. Yung editing for voice actors and voice recordings, all of that was free. Like I learned how to do that for free. Because there are free courses on Coursera, Class Central, yung Udemy, may free courses on Udemy. People think that you should pay for courses in Udemy. Yes, there's paid courses. Most of them are paid courses, but there are some free courses as well. Tapos nagsa-sale pa yung Udemy. Minsan yung sale ng course nila is mga 300 na lang or 500. Dapat mag-take advantage kayo doon. Tsaka kung halimbawa, yung first VA agency ko, so they used a CRM called Salesforce, which is probably one of the most expensive CRMs ever. Okay. I spent a lot of my time after shift nung bago ako na inaaral ko yun. Like, kung saan ako nagpupunta, so natuto ko mag-customize ng dashboard, how to pull up my own reports, how to tie it to my email address, my company email address, how to, yung parang, kasi it's a system. It's not gonna work perfectly all the time, di ba? So, ano ba, naka-tie in yung dialer doon. So, you have to, kailangan kalikutin mo siya. Kasi minsan nasa stuck yung dialer, lalo na auto dialer. So, you have to know how to fix that. Because if you don't fix it, and you don't fix it in your shift, you have 0 calls. Or out of maybe 800 calls for the day, maybe you made 20. So, babawi ka pa tomorrow. Di ba? Paano mababawi sa more than 700 calls? Hello? Pag may time ako, don't wait for the time. Mag-aral ka 1 course a day. Actually, preferably 2 courses a day. Yung mga ginaganyan ko, yung mga pinifilter ko sa time frame. Yung mga matatagal, like 2 hours, mga ganyan, I reserve that for the weekend or inuunti-unti ko siya. Like, I did a story on writing. Oy, talaga? si Danny, binigyan ka ng access sa GHL niya. So, yung mga everyday courses that like yesterday, I did a 20-minute course on updates in Salesforce Pardot. Okay, so for that day, natapos ko yung Salesforce Pardot. And then nung morning, nag-aral ako ng because yung voiceover is in British accent, so British modern RP accent. So that took like 10 minutes. So in like less than 40 minutes, naka two courses ako for that day. Right? Tapos yung mas mahabang course ni Sun Yi, which is on writing, and that is so good. That is so, so good. On Domestica, if you guys can afford that course on storytelling by Sun Yi, like, you should take that course. Pero umaabot sa akin ng buwan yung kay Sun Yi. Pero sobrang sulit. As in, magagamit nyo pati sa TikTok how to write hooks and how to write your content and how to, yung basta yung maganda talaga siya. Pero buwan, inabot ako dun sa writing. Ano pong GHL? Go high level. Yan. Hindi po, madam, wala po new task kay Sir Danny. Nagustuhan ko lang po GHL bigla. GHL is like, it's you should know it. So, kaso, humahabol na si Salesforce, tsaka si HubSpot. So, ang gusto kong aralin is yung updates to marketing automation ng Salesforce. Kasi, yung mga malalaking kumpanya, they can afford Salesforce. Yung mga maliliit na business, they can afford GHL. So if I know both, right? Although wala naman ako masyadong access sa Salesforce, but I handled it for 5 years. But marami ng updates since then. So meron na siyang landing page builder. Hindi ko lang alam if pwedeng gumamit ng CSS inside the landing page builder in Salesforce, but at least I want to know the updates, right? Tapos hiniwalay na pala yung reporting. I guess one thing na pinaalam sa inyo is how quickly you can learn it. You know what? If you're a director of operations, like, you have to know the shortcuts, like, because maharap ka sa clients every day. Tapos hindi ka pwede syunga-syunga sa clients. So, well, I don't know what woodpecker is. Well, I don't know what poised is. Hindi mo pwede sumagot ng ganun, di ba? In that role. Kahit EA ka, tapos sasabihin ng client mo, book a meeting with Patrick Ferry for me. Like, if I would never say to the client, who's Patrick Ferry? Okay, as soon as he says that, nag-google na ako. GMT, di ba? Google mo, tanga. Di ba? Who is Patrick Ferry? Oh, he's a coach. Oh, he must be coach ng client ko. Diba? Ayokong lobas ng susyunga-syunga sa harap ng client. Although, if may kailangan na clarification, kung may malabo, I'll ask questions. But I'll never ask a stupid question like, who's Patrick Ferry? If he's like, book me a meeting with Patrick Ferry for next week, see if he's available, ginugugol ko na si Patrick Ferry. Tapos tatanungin ko kay client, oh, he's your coach? Okay, sure. I have his number. It's on his website. Oh, diba? Hindi ko pa hiningi yung number kay client kasi andun na sa website. Oh, I think I have his mobile number. It's on the website. Or kung tawagan mo yung number, office number, so secretary ni or EA ni Patrick Ferry yung sasagot, then you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Dan Ramsey's executive assistant, and he's he's a coaching client of Patrick's, and Dan wanted to know if he's available next week for a call, like 20-minute call, really short. Like don't be a messenger VA, be a delivery VA. Like deliver every time. Innate or learn or how to learn things quickly. Well, yun nagagawa na experience. So para sa akin, if I read something, read and scan are two different things, okay? Most people on social media, they scan. They don't read anything. Okay, so scan, like say YouTube. If I'm looking on YouTube, scan to the bottom of the page. No interesting videos. Oh, well, one interesting video, so ibobookmark ko yun. Wala akong binasa, di ba? Para akong nagbabasa ng billboard. Do you read what's on a billboard? No. That's why on a billboard, there's like usually one big picture and 5 words. Because you have time to scan it, right? If I'm going to read something, like yung course ni Sun Yi on writing, I will actually read it. Like reading is an investment, right? If I read something that you write, it means that it's important to me. I'm not going to read everything. Diba? Kasi there's not enough time to read everything. If I'm going to read everything that's in front of me, even emails, like I have to scan the email. Now, if there's something on the email that I didn't understand, now I'll read it. Kahit pag nag-interview ako, I give each resume 10 seconds. I go straight to experience. Then I go to location. Ano yung location ng VA na to? See? Because paano ka aangat? When you learn to do a lot of things, you have to learn how to compress, or else you'll be doing a lot of OT. And that OT may not be paid. And who wants to do fucking OT, right? Ngayon nasa iyo, kung binabayaran ka sa OT, edi magaling, pero hindi masaya ang OT, di ba? But if you have to read every single freaking thing, you'll be reading unimportant things, then you're reading important things, so naghalo na lahat. Imbis na nagpa-prioritize ka. And now you're doing OT. That's why you automate. Kaya dapat nag-automation ka, di ba, Raylan? Like whatever kind of VA you are, like if you're a web developer, UX designer, like si Raylan, sales, appointment setter, you should learn how to automate. That's the secret. If you don't know how to automate, you should learn how to automate. You should learn an automation software like GHL. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Dati pag nag-interview ako, so nakabukas yung GHL sa akin. I'm interviewing somebody there inside GHL. If the interview is good, tapos tatanggapin ko siya, all I have to do is toggle. Parang isa-slide ko lang, yes or no. Yung ibang operations director, nagta-type na ng email, I'm so sorry, you are not a fit for our business. Tapos isa-send na yun sa applicant after the interview. I don't type any fucking emails. Okay, it's all inside the automation software. Habang kausap ko, kung tanggap na siya, parang, yeah, toggle left for yes, toggle right for no. When I toggle yes, it'll send the yes email. If I toggle no, then it'll send, thank you so much for your interest at this time, but I don't type every single fucking email. It's a waste of time. I mean, nagna-notes ako. Pwede akong mag-notes. Nagna-notes ako. But yung sending ng email, like, and yung notes, like, I can decide to do it or not decide to do it. You know, It's an option. Hindi siya kailangan na kailangan. Pero yung email, usually after ng interview, tapos yung ang daming VA applicants, they are very, like, nagagalit sila. Kasi wala man lang email dun sa VA agency kung tanggap ako o hindi. Because they don't have automation. Okay? And they don't hire enough people to send you the email that says, we're so sorry, we cannot use you at this time with your current skill sets, blah, blah, blah. Kung small business lang yung client mo, GHL talaga. Yun dapat. Tsaka affordable siya, like $500 to $1,000 a month. If your client is making 4 to 5 million a year, they can afford to invest in GHL. Huwag ka na mag-consider ng alternative kasi bulok yung iba. Okay? Yung tsaka this year magmamahal ang GHL kasi mag-IPO na sila. You know what's IPO? It's when you join the stock market and then mag-initial public offering ka na. So pag nasa stock market na yung kumpanya mo, you know you've made it. Right? So GHL will probably go public this year. So before they go public, hindi pa sila nag-a-announce Kasi nandun ako, I've subscribed to their YT channel and I'm in a lot of their Facebook groups. Hindi pa sila nagpa-public. Pag nag-public na sila, sobrang mahal na. You're not gonna be able to subscribe for $500 a month. So ngayon pa lang, okay, i-research mo yan, i-presenta mo kay client mo. Alam mo, client, ito yung makakatulong talaga sa negosyo. And at the same time, yung trabaho mo, if you're doing your work for 9 hours a day, maha-half yan. Basta matutunan mo yung GHL. The key is automation. You know what automation means? Automatic. Tumatakbo siya ng mag-isa. Diba? Kahit walang tao na nagpapatakbo. Kasi nga automation, robots, AI, hello. Paano mo na magsimula ng SOP from scratch? I don't start SOPs from scratch. You find an app na susundan ka habang nagtatrabaho ka, and then the app records you working, and that's your SOP. Automation. In fairness, guys, when I was still director of operations at the previous VA agency, yung support team, the team that reported to me sa Philippines, which is around 26, 27 na tao, bihira doon mag-OT. Hindi ko sila ina-encourage mag-OT. Just to do SOPs and shit like that, no. Hindi ko sila ina-encourage mag-OT. Except yung live chat na team. Kasi 24/7 sila. Tapos minsan may nag-VL, so may magko-cover. Pero OT yun. Like, bayad na OT. But for the most part, I do not encourage, like, yung mga sa team ko, like, mag-OT ka ng mag-OT ka ng bonggang-bongga ng 5 hours, tulad nung ginagawa ko nung nag-start ako. I don't encourage people to do OT. Why? Because there's automation. You can automate. I always wanted to be a voice actor. Well, I just started September last year, so if you're not automating, like right now, pag lumaki yung negosyo ng clients nyo, if you're doing 8 hours a day of work, you'll be doing 12. And then you'll be doing 14. And then you'll be doing 15. And then you'll resign. What's the most complex thing you can automate sa GHL? Everything. Like, yung process namin sa bagong VAs, yung mga bagong VAs nag-a-apply. From application, up until training, up until pumirma sila ng kontrata, that's like 85% automated. That's like 10, 11 processes automated. Alam mo kung ilan yung tao sa HR? Isa. Isang tao sa HR. Because that's the power of automation. And guess what? That's my skill set. That's my skill set since 2018. Kasi yung previous client ko, binili niya yung GHL as soon as it came out in 2018. So nakita ko na yung tool na nag-develop from medyo bobo na tool. Tapos ngayon, ang dami na niyang kayang gawin. Ay, Raylan, lead connector na yung GHL. I don't know if you read that. Wala nang Twilio. Kasi yung mga ibang training na kinocover mo, baka nakalagay pa doon yung Twilio, Sendinblue, mga ganun. Yung mga email server, wala na. Lead connector na po. Pati yung text messages Raylan. No. It's monthly. It's a monthly subscription. Yeah, as of right now, it's only a monthly subscription. Pero pag nag-public sila, ewan ko na. Actually, check natin kung ano yung update nila. Updates. Meron silang YouTube channel. There's actually one video where I'm mentioned. Dun sa GHL na video. Oh, may A-B testing na sila. Sa GHL, Raylan. May A-B testing na sila. Natin walang A-B testing doon for paid ads and for emails. Ngayon, meron na. Well, can you afford them? Is the question. Right? Siyempre, hindi yan magbebenta at 200 pesos per share. Hindi yan magbebenta ng ganun. Tsaka depende, are they gonna open internationally? Because yung may-ari is an American. So what if he only opens the IPO to American citizens? Oh. Raylan, meron pala, How to Use Go High Level CRM for Beginners, full tutorial by Ravi Abuvala. Kasi nga local company. Tsaka kailan pa yun? Paano sa channel? Raylan, may training na for LC. Oo. Nakita ko yun sa Facebook group Ay, dito si yung nag-i-interview. Bakit ganun? Puro bago na yung mga tao sa nila. YouTube channel. Hindi na si nag-interview. May 14-day free trial pa rin yung yung GHL. Yeah, enjoy your weekend. Shit, it's 6 a.m. na pala. Okay, I'm gonna log out now. Oh, nag-improve na yung website nila. Very good. Kaso hindi masyadong dynamic. Still really 2D. Ito na pala yung pricing sa website Oh my God. Wala nang 500. Bakla. Mahal na nila. 6,972. Eugene. Okay. Wala na yung 500. Break up na nila yung mga services. So now it's 6,000 plus per month. Almost 7,000 per month. Pero may 14-day free trial. Tsaka kung gusto ng client mo ng ano, like somebody to teach him how to use GHL, si Christine Seeley. Okay. She's supposed to be really good at GHL. Christine Seeley. So Seeley, Seale. I've seen her in a lot of the Facebook groups. Okay, take care, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And if you want to see the playbacks from the previous podcast, then you can find me on YouTube as the VA interviewer. I also have a lot of tips there for VAs, and I hope to see you there. So if you like the channel, go ahead and like and subscribe it, and then share it. So hopefully I'll see you next week as well. When we continue the discussion about your VA contracts and parts of your VA contract. Okay. Take care. Check my recent videos for yung mga free training, tsaka yung mga tips. So there's like interview tips, and then I did a series on signs that your client is going to cancel, mga ganyan stuff. Diba? So yeah, I'm not asking you for money. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. That all that content based on my niche is free. Okay. Unfortunately, if you're going to ask me for advice on how to open and run a VA agency, that I don't do that because people pay me for that. So please, wag kayong magtanong sa akin ng, how do I open my own VA agency? How do I run my VA agency? How do I make my VA agency profitable? Like, I don't give that advice, because if you want me to teach you on that or teach you how to be an interviewer, that costs money. Pero yung interview tips, if you're an applicant and stuff like that, or mga VA tips, freelancer tips, stuff like that, I don't teach voice acting either kasi medyo bago pa ako doon. Medyo bago pa ako in this field. But if you're interested in like interview tips, VA tips, and stuff like that, it's all in my content. So go ahead and check out those videos, especially yung free training. Okay, so maraming magagandang free training, usually sa malalaking kumpanya like Google. Maraming free training on Google, Class Central, Coursera, yan, AWS, Amazon Web Series. So that's going to be a super important field in the future. Medyo konti pa lang pumapasok sa niche na yan.
Yun lang, it's a very technical niche. So if you like technical stuff, galing kang tech support, mga ganyan, that could be something that you might want to look at the training for Amazon web series. You have to sign up for the newsletter though. Para makita mo yung announcement for the next training. Ay, i-share ko pala yung link for Amazon web series Innovate, which is gonna be, kasi in-invite nila ako sa Amazon web series Innovate. Innovate. Yan, i-share ko na lang sa sa video. All right, have a great weekend, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.